The Magic Podcast. Hosted by Lloyd Barnes and Craig Petty. Your all-access, behind-the-scenes insight into the current happenings of the magic industry. Where Craig and Lloyd will thrust themselves deep inside your ears every Wednesday to rant, dissect, and give you their raw and unfiltered views on the art of magic. So, lock your door, take out your deck, and brace yourself for the Magic Podcast.
Welcome back to the motherfucking podcast with myself, Lloyd No, I'm not Lloyd Barnes. It's too fucking early in the morning. With myself, Craig Petty, the one and only sheep-shucking motherfucker himself, Mr. Lloyd Barnes, and joined for the second week in a row by Mr. Pigcake. And be careful, because if you're not careful...
He's back on the menu.
Well, he's about to curse somebody right there. He's about to curse somebody.
Oh, look at that. Oh, someone's in trouble. Someone's getting it today.
Don't pretend like you know. Lloyd, don't pretend like you know about our virginity. All right, you goat fucker. You fuck. Let's just start it off with the all the slurs and F words so people don't watch this because they're upset at dirty words.
After the 30-second intro that says, beware of swearing, you cunts, it's about to get lively.
You know, I can read that, by the way. Looking up the podcast, obviously, I do my due diligence. People just bitching and moaning online about it. They're like, "Oh yeah, I really enjoy the Magic podcast with Lloyd Barnes and Craig Petty, but they really do curse a lot and they talk like dirty." Like, yeah, the intro is that disclaimer. So why would you at that point you just have to be stupid. You have to be the
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, though. So you know us in real life, like you met us in person. This is exactly how we talk off camera. But people think that we amp up the bad language to be controversial on camera. But the whole point that this podcast ever existed was Craig called me and said, I want to do a podcast where it's like we're just talking offline. So if we were to change it, it would be inauthentic at any point. And people were like, oh, they're just cussing because they want to be cool. It's like, dude, we are cool. That's why we say cunt off the phone as well as on the phone. Yeah.
You're all magicians, dude. We're cool as shit. Dude,
oh, yeah.
Imagine. We do card tricks. You guys are married. All right. I'm in a somewhat committed relationship with a very big African-American man. Okay. So we're on a good place in our lives. So if people are complaining, it's out of jealousy.
Can you just confirm for real right now, speaking of your relationship situation, that you are up talking magic tricks on a podcast while Peter Turner and your girlfriend are both asleep? Apparently asleep.
No. Yes and no. All right, let me confirm that. Peter Turner is at my house, okay, which is in the hood, and I'm in a house of a person that I'm currently sticking my wiener in. That is her house, far away in the hipster part of town. So Peter Turner is in the hood, and I'm in a different hood. So there's no sleeping together. Peter's not over there. Next to my significant other, cuddling up. He's in my bed.
Have you seen her since you started recording? That's all I'm saying. She could be like the night crawler. She's got out.
Yeah. Well, you say she a lot, which is very generous. But that's not there yet. Okay, she's not there yet.
You're identifying as a frying pan partner.
Yeah. It's you're making a lot of assumptions, Lloyd, and that's not a good way to start the podcast, especially when
I wouldn't put it past Pete Turner to sneak into someone's bedroom while they're busy doing something else, like a fucking podcast. That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
Whack one up there, cracker.
What? Now you got me concerned that he was literally whacking his cracker in my bed, my twin-size bed. In my studio apartment.
Wait. Not necessarily that. While he does it, he'll be telling her star sign as well.
Oh, yeah.
Are you a Libra?
Libra. I'm about to Capricorn.
She's going to Aquarius all over your sheets. For the first time, she's having a real man.
Just on record, by the way, I've been at years ago. I've been at a club with Peter Turner. Your clubs. What's the one? The main one? Pop World. I was at a Pop World with Peter Turner. Turn around, make an alpha fatty. I just want to put that out there.
Pete does not discriminate. He'll fuck anything.
Yeah,
Dude,
it has a
I
pulse.
saw Pete. I saw Pete make out with a chick who, by his own description, as well as our visual confirmation, he said, we said, yo, that chick looks like Michael Jackson, and he said, fucking hell, it does. And then we saw him making out with it.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong because he's the king of pop, and and then you went to Pop World, so he clearly has a thing for the moonwalk. That's
You
what it
know,
was, I think.
you're too quick for me today. I remind everyone that it's 2:30 in the morning for me, and it's about 8 for you guys to open up the curtain here, and that you're just alert, man. I'm out here trying to figure things out again. My anus is a gaping hole, weeping, and you're out here on top of it, dude. Come on, slow down, bro.
All right. Well, let's talk magic then, because
Well,
you
let's
take it nice and slow.
actually, you promised you would come back to us with a book report telling us all about O's Perlman's book, and he's there. He's got a book.
All
What's
right.
going
So
on?
wait, before Big Cake dives into the book report, Craig, if anybody didn't listen last week, and let's be real, nobody listens to this shit.
Yep.
Just tell everyone why and what the Big Cake book report's going to be about.
Okay,
Settling
so we
controversy.
spent a while last week talking about O's Perlman, and one of the things we talked about is a lot of magicians are upset about his book, and the reason they're upset about his book is because a lot of people in the community are saying that the book is written to teach people how to apparently read minds the way he tells the general public who reads minds, which is not through the use of electronic devices, not through the use of pre-show, but instead he uses neuro-linguistic programming. He uses facial tics and body language and all that bullshit. And the community are up in arms because it's like, well, how can you profiteer off that when in actual fact that's not what you do? That's basically the concept. So we all admitted that none of us have read the book. So Pigcake took one for the team and said, I'm going to get the book. I'm going to read the book. I'm going to come back and I'll tell you exactly what I think, whether it's bullshit or not. So that's kind of where we are right now. You've done the work that nobody else wanted to.
And now he's got a 2-scale penis and he's playing with it in his hands, literally.
Haha.
I'm
A
really
carrot
proud of you,
top.
Pig Cake, for getting the book on iPad. That's how I know you've read the book, is that you put it on your iPad.
Yeah,
Because
I
otherwise, if it was
didn't
a
buy
real
it.
book, you would have had all the pages stuck together, probably.
That's true. You know, actually,
Yeah.
because of cum, right? Is that what you meant? Was that the guy?
wow.
'Cause of sperm?
Okay. And that's what they get. Hey.
Well, I was doing a carrot top stick by using props to try to make people laugh, but we're not there yet. Thank you, Craig. This is
I'm
why
laughing.
I like you, Craig. You're just keeping me, keeping me alive. The book is called "Read Your Mind" by Oz Perlman. And you know what? My overall, if I were to sum it up, I would say not AIDS. Not
Okay.
AIDS.
Wow. Okay, so not AIDS out of 10?
Yeah, not AIDS out of not AIDS. Like it's you don't imagine you go on a trip, you're banging all the monkeys and you don't get AIDS, and you come back to, Wales, or in your case, you're banging a goat, you're banging several goats, you come back, there's no sexually transmitted disease. You're alive, baby.
So it's a win? It's a win?
for Lloyd
It's a
Barnes.
win.
Yeah, it's a total win.
Hey, I'm
Uh,
still breathing. I come from the land of sheep.
You're from literally the land of sheep. Oh, actually, technically, I am, because I'm from Cuba and Egypt, where Egypt, they're fucking some camels. They're just in there, just. Anyways, speaking of that,
Those hunts were never filled with water. Let me just say that.
the fucking A, Lloyd. God, dude, we're trying to keep people around. We're out here talking
just
about
in case,
camels.
is it a lot of, as magicians, we speak in magic code words. Like we have to say
Mhm.
turtles when referring to coin gimmicks. So when you say not AIDS, can you explain to any layman listening if that means, it's just to be clear, that it's actually good or
Oh,
not,
yeah.
not deceitful in its advertising? That was the biggest issue. There was a lot of online discourse over people thinking that he was basically just snake oil sales selling this
Yeah.
shit. Because he doesn't say he's going to teach magic methods in the ad copy. there's a lot of words that get very close to saying like like he will reveal his best kept secrets and his most highly guarded blah 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 something about body language reveal. But you know what I mean? It was very to sound like a magic book.
My take on it without having to read it, without having read it, is if he's trying to tell people the techniques that he uses to read people's minds, if he's trying to teach people how to use body language to be able to work out what your mom's dead dog was, the name of the mom's dead dog, then I have exception to that. But if he's trying to repackage a bunch of motivational bullshit and self-help into a book because he's trying to sell it to people that he gets booked to do conventions for or booked to do corporates for, and he wants to kind of upsell a book that's going to basically repackage how to win friends and influence people with a bit of an Oz Perlman fucking, I used to work at Penguin Magic selling magic tricks, and now I'm a fucking mentalist because I got hit by a fucking bolt of lightning one day whilst fucking demonstrating his Fengali deck, and now I have the power to read people's minds as long as I can speak to them beforehand before the camera comes on. If he's like basically upselling a self-help book, then fucking for more power to him.
I think the issue was people were thinking that he was saying that the method he used to reveal pin numbers and names was body language reading and other things other than magic techniques. So he's saying, if you buy my book, I will teach you NLP, and that's how I reveal pin numbers. That's what the assumption was online. And this is what Pigcake is going to put to bed today one way or another. So Piggy, take it away.
What you got, Mr. Cake?
I'm putting it to bed. I'm fucking the shit out of it. And as a matter of fact, because I read the book, I'm right now, you guys are, I could tell based on your body language and reading this book that you guys are a little skeptical of what's in the book. I could just tell using my God-given, actually no, my Jew-given ability by Oz Perlman. I could tell. I don't know. There's a little bit of skepticism in the air because again, using the techniques here, I've learned a lot. Honestly, I've learned about magic mode. That's a thing he talks about in the book. I've learned about fuck, I'm trying to find jargon that he uses. But I mean, the truth of the matter is that it's not there's no method. He keeps kayfabe, if we remember a term from last week, where it's him keeping to this aesthetic of him trying to portray like what he's doing is legitimate and using body language. Because there was one thing in the entire book that I did mention that he was a little bit deceitful when he's talking about his appearance on the Today Show. So he had a very famous appearance on the Today Show where he failed because he had Al Roker, who's a very fat, very black weathernut. So it's very important to mention that he's very fat, very black, and that he failed because he had him name anybody who could potentially be president. He says, do me a favor, name somebody who you would love to see as president. And he goes, George Clooney. And then he goes, is there anybody else, maybe a female that you have in mind? And he goes, oh yeah, Taylor Swift. And then Oz takes off his shirt and he's wearing a Taylor Swift shirt. And he makes it seem in the book that he used certain mind techniques, or that he was very sort of that he was very zen in the moment. He didn't take it as a failure, and that he managed to steer this guy into thinking of Taylor Swift using, mentalism techniques. When the truth of the matter is that it's pre-show. It's 100% pre-show. There's no way that it's not, especially if you're committing to having a shirt. He calls it theory of mind, which is thinking like the person. So that kind of bleeds into the next part, which is it is how to win friends and how to influence people. And that's the book, essentially. He doesn't talk about magic methods, but to be fair, the techniques are psychological. They're, based on
you could implement them for real.
Yeah, but they're not about influencing people.
So why are you still lonely?
Well, because I ran out of money to pay the person that I'm allowing to stick their penis inside of my butthole. That's what it is. It's money, dude. It's all money, man.
Yeah, he has got that other significant other that's currently being fucked to death by Pete Turner.
Yeah, that's true. I do have a teddy bear that I sort of put Vagisil in. But the point is that was it Vagisil or Vagisil? I like to I put in so I could practice eating out.
That makes sense. Yeah, I can see that.
I'm glad that I'm glad the reaction I get from lawyers.
7:57 a.m. 7 a.m. I like that Crane's got center stage on his phone and it directly tracks his forehead. When he went like that, it was just a fucking egg on the screen. Socked egg.
Yeah, I love this shit, dude. This is fun. It makes me feel like I have some fucking. I can't even mention that. And there's limits here. There's limits.
So to summarize, well, this is good because I think it would have been very disingenuous to say the way I attained this person's PIN number was by talking to them and looking at the upper lip moving to the left hand side of the face, blah blah blah. But if he's not saying that anywhere throughout the book, and he just basically gives off life advice and how to be better successful and how to be more make better connections with people, then fair game. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, the only part is that part that I mentioned where he's a little bit dodgy in the explanation as to, and obviously you're not going to explain. Yeah, I talked to him before and I did, but he made it seem like he's using theory of mind, which is his way of talking about being empathetic and putting himself in the mind of a participant.
I suppose, though, right? I suppose since this is geared directly to the public and not to magicians at all.
Yeah.
Also, Lloyd, not just to the public, but to fans, to the public that are fans of Oz Perlman. You probably wouldn't buy this book if you thought he was a twat. So it's not just the general public.
Pigcakes like,
but no, because I was about to be a twat. Dude.
I personally think Oz Perlman is fucking phenomenal. For the record,
I'd buy the book, dude. I'd buy the book. Like, it's a good book. It's not bad. And going through it, there's a lot of sort of psychological techniques on. He has the standard memory shtick that every mentalist has, like Darren had it in his book, where it's like, I'm going to show you how to have super memory, which is every fucking dude tells you how to memorize a list, and he does that using very established techniques. He has just ways.
Did you change the word? It's not a mind palace; it's a head cottage.
Yeah, it's a head. It's a head bar mitzvah. Because he's Jewish.
Yeah.
That's
Boom.
But the entire book, by the way, is fucking running marathons. That's the entire. So I'm trying to read.
I was watching. I watch a lot of. So I don't know if you ever. Are you into documentaries at all? Right.
Yeah.
Every now and then I'll watch something which isn't a fucking murder documentary, and there's one called the Barkley Marathons, the race that eats its young. Didn't watch this, but an extreme marathon. It's called an ultra marathon, where basically it's just essentially a fucking torture camp for insane people, where they got to run. I can't explain it in a nutshell, but it's not even a marathon really. It's basically these people go to like one of the most harshest element places in like the Appalachian trails, and they run around it in circles throughout the middle of the night through not even trails. Like they're just going through thorn bushes for like 100 kilometers in the dark with no maps or anything. And they do laps of this until there's one person left. They just keep it going until there's literally one person left. And but it's fucking phenomenal. It's an amazing documentary. So then I went on to a little binge of ultra marathon documentaries. I do a lot of running, right? So I'm kind of into it. And fucking Oz.
I was gonna say, you look like it.
I never used to. I used to look like a little fucking lesbian rugby player. But fucking, I know Oz does ultra marathons, and he turns up in one of these documentaries of a fucking insane ultra marathon, and he's like
with his perfect teeth.
Yeah, he looks like So, but the thing about this is what I think about Oz. I never shared which way. I wanted to keep like my opinion on him neutral until I just didn't want to share it, but. I think I said it's professional jealousy for anyone slagging him off yesterday, which is 100% true. And I know you can't have right or wrong opinions, but it's the right one. So people slagging him off is professional jealousy, but you cannot deny that the guy is better than pretty much all of us. Everything he does, he excels at. When Penguin Magic came on the scene, right? How many people wanted to be Oz Perlman? Everyone. Yeah, everyone wanted to be the face of Penguin Magic. Everyone wanted to have the chops that he did. How many people did it? Only Oz Perlman, right? He was the Oz Perlman.
Hey,
then he gets
don't forget Jay Noble Azada at the same time.
Oh man,
everyone
I love Jay Noble Azada.
Jay, poor Jay.
Awesome. They were the gruesome twosome. Yeah, they were the modern day Craig and Lloyd. But way better.
when Jay replaced Oz, or was sort of like being groomed for that by the older upper male echelon of Penguin Magic, it felt like in Blue's Clues when Steve left for the other albino, not the other albino, Filipino guy. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Steve leaves and it's
Have you
some
watched,
like
have you watched the Moth episode with Steve from Blue's Clues?
yeah, because I was trying to groom a kindergartner while I was in my time in. Okay, keep going.
So basically,
Before I-
he they had to kick him. He lost his job on Blue's Clues because he went bald.
Yeah, that he was like,
And it's
no,
like-
fuck it, I'm not gonna keep going this with a bald guy that's teaching kids about the color yellow or the size of a frenulum.
Well, if you go on to the Moth on YouTube channel, it's a spoken word story channel, and he's one of the people that has like 20 million views on his video. It's fucking dope. Anyway,
Yeah, he's great.
He Oz filmed it, right? Can't deny it. Like top of the field in what he did at Penguin Magic, because at the time it was only Oz Perlman, and then you had like a lot of people trying to replicate what he was doing. And then he gets into ultramarathon running, and he's won a bunch of fucking marathons and races, right? And he was on he'd be on national news just because of his marathon running. Like, how many people go out running and do marathons, right? And a million. How many people end up on fucking national news because of it? Like, I literally see like news articles because of how fucking good he is. And then he dives from magic into mentalism. Within a few years, he's literally on headline news. Whether that's just because of happenstance that he was next to the president, but you can't deny it. He's on the Joe Rogan podcast, which whatever the guy sets his mind to, he fucking
Didn't he
achieves.
kill it on America's Got Talent as well? Didn't he do really well on
Probably.
AGT?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was part of the book too. That he that's how he got his sort of big push was on AGT, and he talks about it in great length in the book, as well as he does fucking marathons. At this point, I've read enough about marathons that I believe that I'm now in the virginity circle of marathon runners.
Y'all.
I rather get audited, honestly, than run. Dude, if you see me run, I look like I just got a pig. Yeah, I look like I was just a pig in give me a place in Wales, Newport. That's a random place, right? Newport.
Brenner.
Newport Bouncers.
Newport
Bouncers.
Brenner. You got, there's loads of shitholes, man. You got fucking Aberystwyth.
Okay. I just
Well,
like
cool.
Newport.
Blaenau Gwent. No offense to my people in Blaenau Gwent. Love that place. Ira.
Your fucking names, by the way, are so inbred.
They're
It's
weird.
unbelievable.
They're so fucking.
They're noises people make while banging their sister. That's what they're named after.
If you fucking run full pelt and boot a wall without any shoes on, and then take out all the vowels from whatever you scream, that's my hometown.
Yeah. Okay. And then
It's like, what the fuck? Yeah.
anyways, Oz Perlman, all right, the running Jew is what the book should be called, because the book was on good part talking about his Judaism as well as his running. He's the running Jew man mentalist. But
I don't know what he's saying about
it's a great book.
I don't know what he's saying about running in the book. However, I do attribute a lot of my comparatively Z-list success, but especially compared to O's. But my success in recent years, how like my career sort of taken off within the magic fraternity, I do attribute a lot of it to running, 100%.
Yeah, I and you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that, because again, when when the Magic podcast comes out, obviously YouTube recommends a bunch of shit if you're watching this. Dude, the thumbnails of you from back in the day were like, I don't want to say hysterical, but the work that you've done, seriously, man.
Oh yeah,
You're
Lloyd's
fucking-
gone from 5 years ago being the little chubby fat kid that was drunk all the time to a fucking peak of physical fitness, Adonis with a mullet.
You went
Hey,
from a
don't-
chubby lesbian to like what they call a stud lesbian. Like the fucking
No, I had that awkward experience of losing loads of weight and then looking in the mirror and being like, oh, fuck, I'm still ugly. Shit. Most people lose weight and then they're like, oh, god damn, son. No. But no, it's not,
Nah,
it's not,
I
it's
wouldn't
not
poop
from
the
the-
bed.
It's not from the physical weight loss side of it. It's the mental
Mm-hmm.
side of it. Because when it's like, for me, long distance running, especially when it's really difficult to begin. I started off at fucking 240 pounds, and I'm only like 5'8". So I was a little I was a little sea lion, a little walrus.
Must be nice. 5'8".
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I can see all your bald spots from up here. You know what I mean?
Don't you wish? I wish, dude, I'd give up like a nut to have 1 more inch of height because I'm 5'3". Okay, you guys have been next to me. I'm like a little fucking like the little
For
Keebler
sure.
elf. Yeah, and I'm just going.
Sure, do you have to be to qualify for like dwarf status? Are you there yet? Like,
It's 4'9",
4'10".
isn't it? 4'10".
4'10". Ah, so you
Yeah,
Which
just
sucks.
missed
4'10".
out.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah, dude. You know, but I feel
So where's
guilty.
the F worlds?
I go up on girls. Fuck no, guys. I meant to go. I go up on guys. Yo. Okay.
Let me just clear this off, right? Long distance running, because especially I get a lot of messages about it because people see the difference. It gives you, first of all, headspace where you can't look at your fucking phone for at least an hour or so, which people don't do. When was the last time? I mean, we do, right? But when was the last time people listening to this genuinely chose not to go on their phone for an hour and just lived in their own head? So weren't watching TV, weren't like, consuming a book or anything, like just in their own head for 1 hour outdoors. Like it's insane what it does for you. It gives you time to think and process it. And then secondly, it teaches you taught me anyway to stop being a lazy cunt. So I started the long distance running when I started my YouTube channel. And it's like, right, I got to do these videos every Tuesday, then every Thursday and every Sunday. And I didn't want to do them in the same way that I didn't want to fucking go out for a run. But it was like, it trained me to have like mental resilience and just fucking do the hard shit and keep at it. And I literally believe like it went hand in hand with starting my YouTube channel and the fucking rise that came from it. So I'm not surprised that a big part of that book, does he say this a similar thing?
Well, he does, and specifically what I was doing right now, by the way, was a technique from the book, which is called defensive listening, where I'm listening to you defensively. But see, it's highlighted. I highlighted it. It says defensive listening. He also talks about offensive listening, which is what I was doing at the same time. Notice that I didn't interrupt you, right? I'm listening to you empathetically, and I'm repeating, oh, Lloyd, wow, that's very good of you for you to run that way, and that running has changed your life for the positive. I'm so happy for you. All from the book, all right? I wouldn't have been able to do that before. I'd just look at you and start drooling like an absolute troglodyte if it wasn't for Oz Perlman and his book. So that's something I learned. But yeah, he does
really good at that. Craig is really good at that. If you ever watch Craig interview anyone, Craig is one of the best interviewers in the business. More than like professional TV interviewers too. Because you ask someone a question and then let them answer for like an hour. Which is not bad. I can't do it.
Well, the one thing I learned from very early on is people like talking about themselves. It's very rare that people get a chance to talk about themselves. Normally, there's a million other subjects, but they don't get. And so when you just say to somebody, right, tell me this, and you just let them talk without interrupting, they tend to. And I've interviewed so many people on my channel, and they go, oh, I don't think I've got anything to say. I don't think I'm going to be very interesting. And I talk to them. And the interview's like an hour and a half, and they're very surprised that they've opened up that much. But it's just because they're in a situation where I'm just letting them speak.
And you know me, I love talking about CBT pornography. That's cockball torture for those of you guys that are not in the know. But as far as that and running, yeah, he does talk about the strength that running has had, or the effect running has had on his ability to sort of interact with his goals and actually meet them. So that is a good portion of the book, of which I was sort of like disassociating, because I'm not a fan of running. Again, I rather get audited. I rather make out with my dad than run for long distances. I'm a walker, dude. I'm a fucking hour walker.
Same. 100% same.
Walking down the street with my leg warmers, trying to entice all those hot black men that live around me. But the book honestly is fucking great. And if you haven't read it, I do recommend reading it outside of magic, because it is one of those things that you will read and you will pick up something from it, some sort of technique that you'll impart on your life. Because he's not going through methods. He's not talking about anything. He's talking about how these like objective psychological principles that have studies and actually, doctors behind them could be used to affect your life for the positives. Listening to people, remember names, how to actually reach your goals and not necessarily skimp on that, and actually genuinely try to accomplish things. It's not a bad book in that sense, but if you're thinking that he's talking about methods or whatever that is snake oil, it's not snake oil, because these are techniques that have been established forever. They're stuff that's been in psychology for absolutely ever, especially in the self-help world. So it's not necessarily that, but if you're thinking that he's sort of pushing a narrative of him using these techniques, he's very honest in the book where he talks about, I do magic tricks. He goes, fake it till you make it. That's something that he pushes in the book a lot. He also mentions as to him sort of combining these techniques and a lot of times being deceitful and almost lying to get to the goal as far as the effect in magic. So really,
that's actually good that he's willing to be that open, in fact, and say,
yeah.
But there's little flashes of the kayfabe part, or the part where because the theory of mind, that's the part that and it's really early in the book where he talks about performing on the Today Show, and that's the only problem I had in the entire book. But the truth of the matter is that if this book is catered to the audience that it is, which is fans of Oz Perlman that are typically lay people, that are into self-help, that are into seeing a guy that's successful because he's been on TV, he's been on shows, he's been on all these major podcasts, then yeah, you're going to keep to that. You're not necessarily going to go, yeah, dude, so, what had happened was before the show, this guy's a fucking moron, and I gave him a little pad. It's called the Sven pad, and there were a list of celebrities, and one of them happened to be Taylor Swift, that you fucking scroll, whatever, right? And no, he's not going to go through that. But that's the only part that I felt a little bit iffy about the entire book. But to be fair, it's a really good book if you are into that self-help shit. And it's well written, and the stories that he tells are great. Yeah, he's very candid and open. There was one time he got arrested. He got white guy arrested, which is you spend a weekend in jail for, yeah, or fuck, I'm not quick enough to come up with. My improv at this early in the morning is just fucking atrocious, mate. Fuck's sake, dude. I feel like a magician at Weatherspoons, dog. I feel like I'm out here 6 pints in trying to do a fucking Paul Gordon packet trick. Okay, fuck.
God, that would be so hard to do drunk.
I got 4 cards with oil written on them. I got 5 cards with water on them. All right, each one has a rainbow on the back. I'm out here trying to fucking remember where my Elmsley counts go. But luckily, with the Memory Palace that I learned from the Oz Perlman book, I'm calling it Datora, by the way. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm not going to call it. I'm going to call it Datora for obvious reasons. But I recommend it. That's my book report. Is that it's a
genuinely Pigcake. You and your book report has made me want to buy this, because this sounds like the sort of thing that I'd like to read.
I pirated it, by the way. Let me just be very clear. AnnasArchive.com. It's a place where you could download books for free, because
fuck it. It sounds like you went to that website expecting a totally different experience, and I was like, you can get books here too.
No, that's Tyrone's Archive. That's Tyrone's Archive, where you find my favorite type of pornography, which is amateur CBT, African American pornography. That's my favorite. It has to be that.
Oh no,
I don't get off
CBT, which you said was awful torture. I love how Craig was like explaining some of how his interview techniques, and you segued seamlessly from Craig say people love talking about themselves, and that's what I do and implement during my videos, and you find that people often open up, and then you went, I like CBT anyway. Carnal torture.
Yeah.
I had to segue over here.
Yeah, dude, I learned that from the book. I learned that from defensive listening. Actually, no, because I was inside of your heads. And I just, fuck it, whatever, dude. I'm going to cut this bit. I'm going to cut this bit short. It's not going anywhere.
Well done for reading. Did you read the entire book?
I did, yeah. I actually read it. I read it in, I don't want to sound like I'm a little bit of an educated man. I don't know if you know that. But I just snotted on my thigh, by the way. That was great. But
is that a euphemism?
It wasn't a hard book to read. It wasn't a hard book. I like books with pictures on them, but this one I read it in Staples in the middle. What's that?
Or
What?
magazines, Pigcake.
Oh,
Come on.
dude, I'm about to grab my Hellcat that's currently in the same bedroom as my significant other. Hellcat is my pistol, my 9mm
Yeah, which you
pistol.
fucking pulled on me on camera, and I'm still offended because I'm British.
I thought that's what you were
Yeah.
calling Pete Turner. No.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Look at that. I could have this here. Look at
Why
this.
do you have weapons, Pigcake?
I
He
don't
lives in
because
Miami. Are you fucking kidding? He lives in Miami. He needs
Yeah,
all the
but
weapons.
any attacker that wants to take something from him just holds him at his head.
Look at this. Oh, thank you, dude.
He's
Thank
so
you.
short that even the bullets just don't reach you. They're just...
Yeah, he can shoot right at me, and he's shooting right. Thank you, Lloyd. But you know why I have these? Because I can. Okay, because I'm not gonna have some schmarmy bricks on TV be like, oh, oi. No, I use this every day. Okay, and not for stabbing people. I use it to cut various pack. You're telling me as a human being, I'm not allowed to carry a knife on me? They sell this in gas stations. This size knife they sell in gas stations here in the United States. All right, this knockoff Spider Co. It's a brand. But I guess to put a kibosh or to put a I'm trying to think of a Jew term, kibosh, I guess, right, on this segment of the book. It's proven habits for success from the world's greatest mentalists. That's the sort of tagline here, and that's what it is. They're habits that you're gonna have and implement into your life that are gonna change it for the better. Is he the world's greatest mentalist? He's certainly the world's most famous mentalist currently, with all his appearances. And you know, I have to say, yeah, it's a fucking good book. It actually is. And I read it from cover to cover in a couple of days. It's very easy to read. He's a good author. Whoever was if he had a ghostwriter, it's not sort of difficult to digest. It's not full of jargon. It's not full of anything that might deter you from reading a book. In this case, for me, it was that it didn't have pictures. That's the first deterrent. And also, there's barely any penis talk. So he just talks a lot about positivity and all that. And now I need dick. But other than that, great book. I recommend it if you are a budding virgin into self-help.
Well, Dad, I'm going to be getting that. That's really cool. Thank you for taking one for the team, Pigcake. I really appreciate it, man.
It happens often. It happens often. If you guys recall that Blackpool where I had to be on stage with the both of you to a bunch of
where we had an accident with a pint of beer and I was a little bit drunk.
You spilled about not a pint of beer. You spilled like a gallon of beer on me, which was hysterical because I had no washing machine for 2 days. So for 2 days, I smelled like a magician. And also, I'm not even kidding. You got me so hammered because I thought that I could fucking Coors Light. We're drinking Coors Light. I could drink that until fucking my dad comes back, right? And I'm so hammered outside of the Winter Gardens in Blackpool that I'm just standing at the gate. After the podcast, I was just standing like this in the fucking. I don't know what I was doing, but I remembered that I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I had to catch myself because I was just standing outside of the gate, demolished, while everybody was leaving, just wondering, oh, I have to go to the hotel. And I think I ran to the hotel. That might have been the night where I ran through the winter or the fucking bayside of Blackpool, and fucking because I was afraid of getting stabbed by a guy that looked like me.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
You ain't just standing in the mirror with a knife.
No. Unfortunately, they take all. I'm not allowed through the TSA. Fucking England. That's the other part. Imagine going there and being like, "Oh, I'm American. I carry these on a daily basis," and explaining that to them. They'll think that it's a terrorist, an act of terrorism over there. You fucks. God, I fucking hate England. I'm every time I go there, it's just the first time I went. I was like, oh my God, all the buildings. Wow. I'm going to be with Peter Turner. I'm going to help him with all this stuff. And then by the, seventh time I've gone to England, I'm just like, I'm already going to whatever, getting a sausage roll. I'm already fucking bitching at people for the, British things. I'm one of you guys at this point, and I hate it. I've been saying mate all the time now.
Are you going to come to the Magic Podcast convention, which we can announce our next lecturer today in?
We are announcing lecture number 2 today. You should come.
Great segue.
He's coming when he hears the lecturer.
I saw that. Oh, that's funny. It's a sperm joke. I saw that. And when you guys mentioned it last time, I didn't know you guys were hosting a fucking convention.
Yeah. It's completely fucking disorganized, but we have a website now.
Have you seen the website?
Yeah, looks great.
Go, if for everyone listening, go to themagiccon.com. So 2 C's in the middle. Themagiccon.com. And the next convention lecture, basically it's the Wayne's World convention, man. It was kind of like on a whim. We sent it a couple of years ago, and we kept putting it off because we're like, we're not fully ready to like with a lot of other moving parts in our like businesses and lives going on. But this year, we were like, right, let's fucking do it. I think I called you, Craig. I was like, you know what, we're doing it. Like this is it. And so far, there's like little to no organization, but it's coming together quite well, better than we really anticipated. So the first lecturer officially announced was Ben Williams, the incredible Ben Williams. I'm not sure how familiar you are. Ben's like one of the staple fucking creators in the UK at least. Like, and he was one of the first big creators on the Magic scene when the online community. Everyone was fucking bad. So Ben Williams is coming along, and he's gonna fucking melt our brains.
He's another guy, by the way, that you talked about Oz Perlman having like that brain where it's just like I really do believe that when you children, you have a blueprint, and if you're successful, it's just because you've got the right blueprints in your head, you got the right attitude, positive mental attitude, or whatever it is, and Oz Perlman has that. You can see that. But Ben Williams also does, because he's not afraid to try stuff. He's not afraid to be entrepreneurial in so many different ways. And that's why he's so successful. Outside of being a magic creator and a performer, the guy's just super successful.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's fucking, I'm like literally, I mean, it's the convention of our dreams with someone like Ben Williams there. So Ben Williams is the first announced lecturer. He's lectured on the Sunday. A second lecturer we can officially announce is a guy who I talk about and Craig talks about, but specifically I fawn over almost every podcast episode that has been on here that we've done in the last few years. I think he's not only one of the best creators alive, because so fucking many magicians, professional magicians, TV magicians, and everything in between will in some way, shape or form use his effects. You see them all over the Britain's Got Talent shows. I'm pretty sure, I know that Joshua J used one of these effects in his show called 6 Impossible Things. One of them was this guy's trick. I think he made it custom for him. So you see him all over television shows. Magicians on TV literally use a lot of his different effects, and professional workers around the world also use this guy's work. So he's an incredible creator. He's madder than a bottle of crisps or a bottle of potato chips. He is a human. I call him 2 things. He's a human Labrador, as in he's like, when you see him, he's just the loveliest, sweetest soul on planet Earth. I also call him a social hand grenade, because every time you see him, shit just explodes or goes crazy, and he's just sat there like, oh, what the fuck? And aside from that, and I've said, the reason I can say this with authority, or at least with conviction, is because as soon as I say the name, everyone that's been listening for a long time will say, oh yeah, in fairness, Lloyd, you say this all the fucking time about this guy. I do believe he's one of the best performers in the world. If you've ever seen him perform, he does something that he gets something out of crowds that other magicians literally cannot. He gets them screaming, he gets them freaking out. I saw
him recently walk out in front of 100 people with a carrier bag and a chocolate bar and bring the fucking house down with a 15-minute bit that is better than anything I've seen in the last fucking years.
Yeah, he's incredible. That being said, we should announce him. I think people are probably going to guess who he is. This guy he's not coming just to lecture. He's also given us a gala show, and not just one gala show. He's given us 2 gala shows. And what I said, shall we announce him the week before last, Craig? And you said, it's all confirmed. All I have to do is call him up to dot the I's and cross the T's. When I spoke to him, he had no idea the convention even existed. He was like, what the fuck? Perfect. I was like, has Craig spoke to you about this? He's like, nope. So So it's very much the Wayne's World convention. And in fact, he called me and was like, apparently, because I spoke to someone, I was like, oh, yeah, I think he's going to be a lecturer. Craig told me. And then that person called him and was like, are you lecturing at this convention? He was like, nope, because I don't lecture. He did a small talk at the session as a favor, which was not announced and not planned. He turned up on the day that Andy Gladwin asked him to do it. And he's like, no, because I've just pissed a few people off by turning down the conventions because I do not lecture. So I was like, well, Kieran, well, this is his name. So the lecturer is going to be, I'm fucking waffling now, aren't I? The lecturer, 2 gala shows, and you're probably not going to stop him performing all around the convention, is, drumroll, Kieran motherfucking Johnson. The man, the myth.
Isn't it Lefevre now? Isn't it Lefevre? Let's just call him the Kieran the Mighty. I don't know.
Kieran the Mighty, yeah. So if you don't know him, he is currently, he is part of the crew, the cast even of The Greatest Showman in London.
Which is the greatest show of all time. I fucking love that.
It's fucking phenomenal. He has a TikTok page where he does bubble shows and that have millions of views and millions of subscribers. He has an entire regurgitation. He has one of my favorite tricks ever, which is he takes 2 polos, or in America they call them lifesavers, which are mints with holes in them. He swallows them openly and then regurgitates them slowly, and they're linked. They're fucking crazy. He can down like 3 liters of water and then spurt it up, and then he blows vape water and then coins in any order, heads or tails that you want. And that's just his regurgitation act. And then he does things like the card in ice? That's his. You know the ice from nowhere? That's his. You know the Cuban bottle? He created that too.
You know the can?
Cans with hot drinks inside them. He also did that as well. That's Kieran the Mighty. All these tricks that people just assume are part of the zeitgeist of magic, the everyday life of professional TV and working magicians. That's all his.
The guy's a genius, and he never lectures these days purely because he's too busy performing. And he's such a nice guy. You know, he got tickets for me and my entire family to go and see The Greatest Show. And he got us in, he got us tickets. We had an amazing time. And he finishes his bit halfway through. So halfway through the show, he's done. And we're there in our seats having a great time. And when we come out, and it's pissing down with rain, when we come out of the theater, Sarah's like, oh, what should we do? Should we go back to the hotel? I'm like, yeah, Kieran's not going to be here. He's standing outside in the rain in a coat. I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, well, I didn't want you to walk back on your own. So I'm gonna walk with you to your hotel room, make sure you're okay, and then I'm gonna go back to my place. And he was waiting around in the rain for an hour and a half or whatever it is, just to give me and my family a 5-minute walk to the tube and take us on the tube back to the hotel to make sure we're okay. That's the sort of guy we're talking about here.
He's amazing. And the reason, let me tell you, man, me and Kieran go back like 20 years, maybe. I filmed a lot of his original projects, like the Card and Ice and Cuban Bottle and things. And we just known each other since day. It feels like almost day one for me. But I call it a social hand grenade because that is a bit different. Like, we were in a convention once years ago, and he was doing a routine where there was a fucking egg involved, right? We're on these little convention tables. He's next to mine, my old Enigma stand. And it's a quiet convention. There's probably like 30 people in the entire thing. And this dealer's hall is just basically a fucking like a badminton court indoors, right, with tables in it. And so we got our tables, got black cloths on them, and our little stands and that fucking products and things. And you can hear a pin drop in there. It's so quiet. And we're chatting. And someone walks along, and they go into this table. And they walk up to Kieran's thing, and he's showing them like coin in ice that he was doing. That he was showing them this trick called Too Hot to Handle, where there's hot drinks inside soda cans. And then he does the egg trick, and they say, oh, is that a real egg? And he goes, yeah, just takes the egg, smashes it on the fucking tabletop, all over the cloth, just starts dribbling all over the floor, and carries on talking. And then he starts showing them and it's like, whoa, what the fuck, Kieran? And it's like literally, like, yeah, it's a real egg. He picks it up, smashes it everywhere, casually. In Kieran's head, you can see this was the same as putting down a deck of cards. There was no difference to Kieran there. He wasn't thinking this is going to be a fucking mess, and we all had to start running around helping him clean it up and scoop the fucking egg yolk and things and the fucking white of the egg. Oh, he's like, is that a real egg? Yeah, cracked it and just carried on fucking going about his day. like social hand grenade. This shit happens everywhere. We were sat in a little fucking after we went to see The Greatest Showman. Me and Kaylee, he got us tickets, took us to the VIP experience. Incredibly grateful. Went to this little tiny pub to have a quiet like chat with him and a glass of Coke. Next thing, he's like fucking stood up doing the fucking Lincoln rings to all the fucking punters at the bar and shit. And we were all, we'd gone there with the intention of a quiet, hidden away, tiny little fucking catch up. It's just Kieran for you, you know.
Vomiting coins, shit in the middle of that weather.
The next thing that happens, I turn around, I come back to the bar, he's showing Kaylee that he's like, oh, the fucking coin coming out.
What a great guest for you guys, man. That's a wonderful fucking addition to the lineup, dude. Because he has nothing but just like these wonderful ideas that I don't even know how you could put yourself in the mindset to come up with them. It's unbelievable. His bubble work is ridiculous. As a bubble guy, I love, believe it or not, my autism is bubble magic. I fucking love bubble magic.
Dude,
I spent so much time in my youth coming up with like recipes for just the right amount of glycerin. Someone, if Finn John said use Coca-Cola, I went full in there when it came to that. But he's second to none, and he's unbelievable when anything comes out with.
Well, he's doing his bubble act at the convention.
Oh shit! Okay, that's sick as shit. That is sick.
Yeah, it's fucking. Do you know what the thing is, right? I'm a magic like purist, as in like I really don't like any crossover from magic. Like I don't really like any. Like I don't like gambling stuff because it's magic adjacent. It's not really magic. But I saw his bubble show live, and there's no magic in it really. But it's magic in the sense of what he's doing is impossible, and you can tell how much of a big fan of his magic I am. I think I kind of preferred it. It was fucking unbelievable. And that's why he's going to do it at the convention, because magician, you've got to have some diversity of like, you know, it can't just, I mean, we can't just have straight A cans all weekend, but he's going to do his bubble act, he said. And yeah, people are going to be in for a shock just because it's fucking mad. It's the only way I can describe it is that it is magic and it's not even a trick. It's crazy good. So yeah, if you haven't already, the convention is £50. £50 for 2 days.
Go to themagiccon.com. Themagiccon.com. You can get tickets immediately. It's going to be incredible. We're going to announce another name next week. It is going to be epic. And we want it to be a success because we want to do this every year. We want this to be to Magic what SummerSlam is to the wrestling world. There you go, Pigcake. There's a bit of a wrestling analogy for you.
I think there are different categories though, right? You've got like Blackpool, which is just Mecca.
Yeah.
Straight up Mecca. Everyone comes around the world on a pilgrimage to Blackpool. Then you got the session where you go when you want to seriously become a professional magician. You go there to learn.
But it's also very corporate, the session. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But you wouldn't have Andy.
You can't say the word cunt on stage at a session.
Yeah, it's very corporate. It's very safe. They're not going to say anything that will get Vanishing Ink in trouble. You know, they're not going to say anything that will potentially get them sued.
When I go to the session convention, I come away feeling like a better person. You know, like I think like, oh, I feel like okay, I can start again now. I feel like I'm good. I mean, I'm surrounded by good people. Then you have Magic Live, which is like the mysterious, shrouded, like nobody knows what's happening, and it's like high entry price. I see this magic convention, the Magic Con, being like the Mardi Gras magic.
Yep. Yeah,
everyone's
I see it being
fucking crazy. Just get our tits out.
It's gonna smell like shit. By the way, I just realized that just by the nature of But you guys also got Jack Magic, which is phenomenal. Trick Boom, they're fucking great. I assume you're gonna announce dealers
there as well.
Yep.
Yes. So you guys are doing it, man.
I'm thinking for you, flights are probably like couple of $100.
Come on, come on over.
Spirit Air. I'm gonna take a Spirit airline ride over there.
50% chance you'll survive.
Isn't Spirit closing down though?
That's the joke. That's the joke is that they're closed. They're no longer available. We called it the bus in the air, like a fucking Greyhound bus in the air. It's your Ryanair. Essentially, is the equivalent to your Ryan, which is oh shit. The guy was, by the way, for Ryanair was considering charging for using the toilets in the airplanes. I don't know if you guys saw that interview. Phenomenal. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. I'd pay a quid to piss in a fucking to make it a clean bathroom so that it doesn't smell like 8 different types of curry shit. Fuck. That
You
was
also wanted to have people standing up on flights too.
yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, why not?
But
Why
he
not? More
actually had like a
space.
good reasoning for it. He said like, oh, a flight from London to Paris is like an hour 30, where it's safe, it's legally safe to stand during, and you can get a 30% more passengers on board, which would lower the cost by X amount of pounds for everybody.
I don't remember if
Yeah.
I took a Ryanair from Manchester to London. I don't remember. I remember it being like 20 minutes, and I remember it being what had to be the fucking shakiest plane in my entire life. So I imagine standing, you're just gonna be fucking just going around whiplashing yourself. So it was a wonderful experience, if I remember correctly. I was hammered as shit because I think it was my second time coming to England, and I was doing what I call the time machine method, which didn't work, which is you get belligerent right before you get on a plane, and then you wake up and you're in a different country. It doesn't work for me. I get hungover immediately, and then now I'm angry for 8 hours. Just fuck.
Makes sense.
You know, it's kind of lame though. I was gonna say that you guys are doing a convention because I'm doing a convention too. I can't announce my headliner because he's not out yet. But he's known for fire wallets, and he's still got a little bit of time left. So unfortunately, you have to wait till I'm gonna do my convention. It's September the 11th of
Oh,
2020.
Jim Pace?
So this, thank you for ruining it. Thank you for spoiling it, Lloyd. Thank you. I was trying to keep it a
Sorry,
surprise.
I was joking.
No, and why'd you? Thank you. Whatever. Now I'm not even going to do the convention anymore. Whatever. It's a waste. Thank you, man. Fuck, dude. I was gonna get all the grapes, man. I was gonna get all the grapes, dude. Jim. I was gonna get Fuck. Jim.
A puppet of Ted Karmelovich's dead pedophilic body.
Well, you know, a little bit of. I was thinking, guys. I don't know if this is a subject that's worthy of talk here. So if you guys saw, David Copperfield recently ended his streak as a, I would say not a performing magician. I'm sure he's going to do other shit, but his show in Vegas, right, has recently come to a close after, I believe, 25 years or some obscene amount of time that he's been doing a show. I believe at some point he was like the most performed magician, that he did the most shows or a year or whatever. I don't know if that's true, but he did do a lot of shows. And I noticed a lot of people posting positivity, saying, oh shit, David Copperfield is the reason I went to him. Same thing with me. I'd be, happy because Copperfield was an influence when I was growing up. I watched all his TV specials. Beautiful man, very attractive in the 90s with the hair. Still to this day, he does a floating rose to like a hot redhead that I watch every year on YouTube just to remind myself what real magic looks like. And, a lot of positivity. Now, he has some nefarious dealings, right? He's been on that Epstein list many, many times. I haven't seen as much flack.
Did you see what do you remember Kyle Marlett? I think his name is Kyle Spencer now. Did you see what he posted the line?
No.
So I'll read it out. Everyone watching on YouTube, you can see it. Take a screenshot. I'll read it. It says, "Hey magicians, why are we praising and sucking the dick of a magician who's in the Epstein files, has 16 different sexual assault allegations against him, went to court against someone who he caused permanent brain damage to, etc., etc., etc. So what exactly does it take for you to stop supporting someone? It's literally so embarrassing for you."
That was my point. And comparing it to O's, that I've seen a lot more vitriol for someone like O's for performing in the White House. I don't know if it's just anecdotal. Than someone like Copperfield. Maybe it's a different headline that's recent. So O's is in the current space when it comes to discourse in magic. But I noticed that it's like similar sort of shit. O's is getting a lot of shit for having performed in the White House. Meanwhile, Copperfield, who's just canceled a show, everyone's like, yeah, I love this guy. This guy's great. And then appeared on the Epstein files, God knows how many times, did weird shit. And is kind of had all these things attached to him. So there's, I don't know, some little
Well,
like hypocrisy.
yeah. There's a couple of things with that. So the first thing is, why was he let go from the MGM? Was he let go? Was it his decision to leave? Was it MGM's decision to move on because they wanted to distance themselves from anyone associated with the Epstein list? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I'm just hypothesizing here. But I do see that there's a lot of magicians that are kind of very pro David Copperfield. Yeah, there you go. There he is with Ghislaine Maxwell.
I would too, dude. I would too. Have you seen her fucking milkers, man? Holy shit, dude. God.
Here's the thing that I read a post about this online, and somebody said, "Oh, innocent until proven guilty." Like, he's not being charged with anything. He's not actually proving it. Although he's on the list, there's a lot of other people on the list. It's not saying that he's done anything wrong. Yes, he's hugging Ghislaine Maxwell, but that might be just completely just nothing to do with it. Yeah, exactly. With the milkers, like. Lloyd, what's your opinion? I totally get where Kyle's coming from. I totally get that.
Let me read a sort of a good comment that I seen on Kyle's post from somebody else. I kind of think this sort of Kyle's response, I think it's Kyle's response, sort of encapsulates where my head's at. So it's quite a long post. I'll read at the first opening line. It kind of gives you the gist of it. But he says, so someone says, why are people defending him? And this guy, I'm not going to say his name because I don't think it's not worth starting a controversy with this guy specifically, but the guy says, I wasn't there and I don't know if he's guilty. Anyone can make accusations. I can accuse you of robbing my house and I tell everyone it's true and I can make an AI photo that you were there and a handful of people, maybe half the country, would believe me. Does it make it true? They have found a number of false allegations in the file. There was a famous lawyer accused of molesting a child and that grew up and wrote a book. They admitted it was said to make money and the allegations weren't true, and the lawyer proved they were somewhere else. So I'm very, very careful to accuse people without knowing the facts. People have been calling the FBI to add to the Epstein files, including people who have an agenda. I can report a neighbor for being on the island, and once I report it, I can go on the news and say they've been found in the Epstein files. I would feel differently if they were proven in a court of law with witnesses, text messages, sworn testimony, brackets camera since Epstein had cameras, but writing a book or just going on Facebook isn't a high enough bar for me. And then someone said, that's a lot of words you say to protect pedophiles. Good for you. Some of us have grown up. And then Kyle says, it just fucking disappeared. He said, what the fuck do you? I bet you're a Christian, huh? Trust me, bro. I read a book. And then someone says 16, no, so this other guy says 16 sexual assault allegations and openly hung out with a known pedophile. But yeah, he's an innocent victim. All you have to do is look at any public forum about how his show is closing down and see the repugnant stories about him. But I'm sure those are all just lies too. You're embarrassing yourself and you're too ignorant to know it. So then the guy who made the post originally says, show me convictions and evidence. Don't show me, trust me, bro. I read a book. So yeah, that's the thing, right? Realistically, yeah, no smoke without fire. 16 sexual assault allegations, and you can't hide the public or the behind closed doors tight friendship with the pedophiles and sex traffickers. So I'm trying to think what's the way of saying this without being like legally done for libel or whatever the fuck it's called. However, if it looks like shit and it smells like shit, it's probably shit. You know what I mean?
True. You know what? 1999, David Copperfield, he could fuck the shit out of me, dude. Like there's no
Michael Jackson definitely fucked those kids, but did you see how good he was at the moonwalk, man? Like, honestly, it looked like he was floating on air. He would go backwards as if he was gliding on ice. So yes,
Michael Jackson
did pump those youngsters.
Dude, Michael Jackson never touched a kid. All right, let me be out here. I'm in that group. All right, I'm in the Michael Jackson defense group.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying.
The best argument I had for that is I heard someone say, okay, right, you can believe that he just liked to shower naked with those kids who could describe his erect penis and all the birthmarks on it in detail, and plus the child porn found in the vaults, in the lockers, in his bedroom after he died. The only one question is, if you had children, if you had a little baby boy, would you allow him to sleep over unattended at Michael Jackson's house in his bedroom with those 7 locks on his door? Would you let your child
Anybody-
sleep in his bed? Would you? If you
Anybody
had a
could
child-
describe Michael Jackson's dick. All right, anybody. All right, there's a little bit of white. Some of it's black. It's fairly big. Remember, he's an African American man, right? Person of color. A little bit of glitter on that. Okay. It's perfectly shaved. Everybody could describe it. Okay. That's not a fucking thing. That's not a thing, Lloyd. All right. It's so easy. All right. Now
what about the child porn? What about the child porn in the locker?
Well, to be fair, did you not see the headliner to the convention that you ruined that I'm willing to have in September 11? Huh? Dude, I'm willing to look past that, dude. All right. The guy's great at fire wallets, the web. Dude, come on. The web. He came out with the web.
Bro, oh, look, hey.
Jan
just
Rubin's
saying.
going to be doing a gala show. Dude, I'm just so excited. I'm excited, man.
Hey, look,
I'm
no.
excited.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that
No,
Michael
there is
Jackson
some,
could
there's some questionable stuff. I'm being a biddy. I'm being a bit.
some questionable stuff.
Yeah, some dude. Dude, are you're making me shit on Thriller, man? I can't shit on Thriller.
I'm not shitting on Thriller. I said, look, he's at that level where he's so good at the moonwalk, he's allowed to fuck kids. But it's undisputable that it's undisputable that he did fuck kids. I'm just saying that sometimes. By the way, for anyone who's just tuning in right now, I am joking. I'm not joking that he fucked kids. He definitely fucked those kids. I'm joking that he's
Okay.
allowed to do it, or morally allowed to do it, because he can moonwalk.
Never.
Because he could also do that little spinny thing as well and go on his toes, which is so sick.
Yeah, which is very sick. Yeah, it's a.
Everybody's tried that. I've tried
It's
that.
not about whether Michael
Yeah.
Jackson fucked kids. We all know he did. It's whether David Copperfield did. That's what we're trying to get to the crux of here with the Magic podcast, not the Moonwalk podcast.
I'm not sure what the,
Investigative journalism.
sexual allegations. That's just to be clear. I believe the 16 sexual assault allegations are against women, not kids.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you're gonna accuse him or dunk on him for anything, be clear about what it is, and that, just
Yeah, 16 women alleged
he might
from
be,
the
he
80s.
might be a sexual assault rapist, but he has morals,
Wasn't he married at one point to Claudia Schiffer?
Dude, the guy banged every tail.
Oh yeah.
If that's the case, why the fuck would you want to go anywhere else? She was gorgeous.
The problem arises is that, and this is not defending him in any way, because if it was one instance of this, someone saying he assaulted me, see that billionaire who can just settle cases for $250,000 like it's nothing, that we totally had sex and there was no cameras or evidence there to say how it happened, whether I was coerced or not. Yeah, I want to take him to court. What it's, that you could argue, right? It could be a he said, she said, although it's always better to believe the victim, right? Or at least give them the benefit of the doubt, because it takes a lot of courage to come forward. When there's 16 instances of it, and he spent a lot of his time, he loved the fucking Epstein Island so much, he got his own island. You know what I mean?
Legend.
If somebody was driving around and they're like, okay, this is my rape wagon, and you go off and you spend time in that rape wagon, and you're, do you know what? I fucking love this rape wagon. I'm gonna get my own rape wagon. But you're a billionaire, so it just happens to be an island.
My
You
rape
know.
receptacle.
Yeah, rape city.
Let's
Yes.
what if could you imagine just step back for a bit and you have the ability to look at a piece of land like an entire island and go like, yeah, I'm buying this shit. It's not just buying the island, you're also essentially buying people to work there. You have to have fuck you money to have a fucking island. And Kate, he's on. So, but yeah, it's the Bill Cosby method, apparently, from what I was looking at.
Oh,
Here's the
really? What, he would drug them?
Allegedly, that's part of it. That he'd put the poison in the pudding. From what I'm reading, that he would
Wow.
drug them.
Here's what I'm thinking here. Like, every single person that I've seen defending David Copperfield typically goes down the same route, which is but he was so influential to magic. I wouldn't be a magician if it wasn't for him. He's done so much for the community, blah, 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 blah. And it's kind of like, if this exact same thing came out about just a jobbing close-up magician, and why not? Like, it would immediately just be, right, fuck that guy. I think the reason people are giving him a wide berth is because he's David Copperfield and he's been so influential to a lot of people. And we refuse to believe that this could be the case because we've got this kind of idealistic image.
Like he's a perfect grandfather. Like,
Yeah.
Sorry, but I've said this since day one on this podcast, not in relation to the sexual assault allegations, but I never saw much of anything of Copperfield growing up. I didn't see him on British TV.
No, but I tell you who was influential in your career, who is also in the Epstein files, David Blaine.
Yes, he is, and he was prolific in my in me becoming the type of magician that I am. However, there was a CNN report. I think I sent it to you, Pigcake, in that Epstein would hire magicians to perform, as well as other like. Thing is, what is it, like 3,000 celebrities in the Epstein files, and often he would just pay or hire people to be around them. And like the comment said, just because you're mentioned or you've been there, it doesn't mean you are. I think there's a difference between 16 sexual assault allegations, plus photos of him in bedrobes with Ghislaine Maxwell wrapped around each other, who was the sex trafficker, and having his own Epstein Island, versus somebody getting booked for gigs.
Yeah, it could be. And I don't think any of that information is ever going to come out. Like, everyone's going to know, like, objectively what actually happened. But still,
I will say, if Blaine comes under if the same type of accusations come against Blaine, I'm going to say the same shit. But as it stands, he's just another person that was.
If you notice that does happen a lot in the art, which I don't know if this magic is just one of those arts that caters to deviance, but where people are willing to go up in arms for the defense, even though they've done indefensible, is that the word? That they've done, just atrocious things, potentially, that people are willing to, like, die on that shield and go, no, but they fucking did great close-up magic. It's like, well, yeah, but, they might have fucking finger blasted a fucking 14-year-old. You don't know. Fuck.
Yeah, it's because people develop parasocial or mild infatuations with people because in their professional life and work, they do have brilliant things, or they come up with brilliant concepts, and people find it very hard to differentiate and put a distinction between somebody doing brilliant things and then rape.
Yeah. Well, I sent you a video of the fucking one we were talking about last week, which is James Randi. That weird video of him, the audio. He's there to
do a reenactment of that James Randi audio, and give people the context if they haven't heard.
Well, the context, I was looking it up too, because he had an allegation that they said that it was one of his contrarians, his detractors, that were trying to fabricate this stuff, but it's very clearly him on the tape going, do you do blowjobs? Do you do blowjobs? Good. Okay. Meet me at this park bench. Come on. And just imagine, Randy, and you know what his dick looks like, right? It's the same with Michael Jackson. You know exactly what James Randi's
cock looks like. It looks like a witch's finger.
It looks like him, right? Just sort of weird, balding. There's definitely a lot of hair. It's, it's all head. Like, his dick is all head. Like, it's just that long part is just, there's no shaft. And
it's like, when people have dogs and they end up looking like their dogs, and that's called a Bowser, when you have a dog that looks like you. Same for his dick.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
For James Randi's cock. That should be the name of this episode. James Randi's cock. But but yeah, he's at a park bench. Imagine trying to solicit a blowjob from what is like ostensibly a fucking minor, which is it might have been a sting thing that they were just trying to, like, get him and just prove that he's a weird deviant.
They were just trying to get him.
Yeah. But they caught him. They caught him because the allure of the underage cock was too much for him to handle.
Was he underage or of age?
I think it was an of age person pretending to be, from my understanding. I could be wrong, just because It's articles from like 1992 when I was looking this shit up, like fucking weird shit because
Let
there
me
was a court
Wikipedia
case
this.
involved. I forgot the guy's name, something Brown. But they tied the guy to Uri Geller somehow. If you look up what do you call this? James Randi sexual misconduct. I think you'll be able to find the shit. But still weird because it's your voice. It's the 90s or whatever the fuck. You're still listening a blowjob in a park. Do you do blowjobs? Do you do blowjobs? And it's funny him just because I watched everything that man had, bro. All his speeches, all his stuff. I read all his books. Like huge fan, and then you try to it sort of infatuate yourself with this guy, and then one thing is enough to ruin it, which is in this case trying to solicit a blowjob in a park. Are you looking up? And there was also the weirdness because when he was doing that experiment in Australia with the fake psychic, I don't know if you remember that he had like a young boy who ended up eventually marrying him, pretend to be a psychic in Australia, and he was trying to fool the circles of psychics into thinking that he could. He was trying to sort of manufacture a psychic and prove that people are gullible and deceptive, and then he ended up marrying that guy, and there was like a weird time frame on that guy's age. There was just a lot of weirdness when it came
Would that
to
be the
that.
same as though if like Oz Pearlman ended up getting married and the person he married did it because he thought he was psychic or a real mentalist? Like, would it fall into that
That's
category?
fun. All the power to him if you get pussy doing any sort of magic or mentalism, man. And all the power, God bless you. If you manage to snag a slit because you fucking did the 2-card Monty, dude, you deserve to be on a different list. You deserve to be on the fucking Medal of Honor list if you manage to snag just a nice, well-rounded slit because of a card trick. God bless you, mate. Fuck,
Well,
man.
the Jerks has the glom, doesn't he? That society. Every magician in the world is a member, and you get kicked out if you get arrested or for sexual misconduct or underage.
Oh,
pedophilia.
man.
Well,
Oh, man. No, I'm looking at the list now, man. Yeah, these are, oh, God, I hate it that I have to fucking make some emails now to cancel. I can't tell Richard Bellers to perform anymore in my convention. Dude, I was going to have the who's who of magic, dude, where we're going to talk about fire wallets and kid buttholes and all this other stuff. Now I can't have it anymore. Fuck.
This is hilarious about James Randi, right? So he's been accused of pedophilia, and then there's a phone call, which is a link if you search it online, where he solicits a blowjob from an underage boy, right? When brought up
There you
with
go.
Randy, I think you mentioned this last week, he didn't deny that the recording was of him and that the kid was underage, but claimed that he was working with detectives to help bust known pedophiles in his community. Memory serves, when detectives were later asked if there was any truth to Randy's claim, they denied ever working with him.
You know what that shit is? That's To Catch a Predator, if you guys know that show, right?
Yeah.
Imagine, Chris Hansen comes in. You're about to talk. You're about to bag, the girl of your dreams. She's a vulnerable 14-year-old that's in her house, her mansion alone. Right. By the way, they're always mansions, like these massive houses. And then the guys show up. They take the bus. They get fucking underage pussy. And then you have Chris Hansen come in. Is the equivalent of him going, "I knew it, dude. See, I was testing you guys. All right. I was just checking you guys to make sure that." Yeah, dude. By the way, I noticed that on the glum.
It's like the Jay Seinfeld performance on Fool Us, where he's like, you do that TNR. And he's like, actually, I double fooled them because I let them know. I told them that they got the method right, but secretly they got the method wrong, and that's how I know I super fooled them or something. It's like, what the fuck? Okay, cool.
You remember this? That he talks about. He's like, oh, I fucking made it seem like I was using thread by putting the deck to my body. This is what Sangi said. And then I extended it to make it look like I was using thread, but really I was using my thumb. Haha, fooled you, bitch. Fooled you. Right? It was the equivalent of you putting on like a Johnny, as you guys call it, right? Like, oh, I put on a fucking, she asks you, oh, did you put on a condom? And she sees you putting on a Trojan, but then you put on a skin brand. Fuck, terrible bit. Fuck. God, I deserve to be on that list for that joke. I noticed, by the way, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Disturb Reality. Jarek 120.
Yeah, I know about this. Fill everyone in.
Well,
I
Jarek
don't know
120.
what this is.
He is funny enough, he is someone that you would know. Craig?
No.
You get it?
What?
Because he's a deviant, he's a sexual deviant. No, because he's into wrestling. He was a wrestler. Okay,
Right,
that's
okay.
why. I'm glad that you got nervous for a second. No, but so he's a when we're talking about like YouTube magic, there's a couple people who were sort of fresh and innovators when it came to performing and doing tutorials. Jarek 120 was one of them. We have Assad from 52 Cards. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lloyd, as far as like initial YouTubers. Miss Mag was another one. That these are all YouTube channels that were like quintessential in magic on YouTube, in having this sort of tutorials be possible and stuff. And Jarek was one of them that was there in the forefront. Jarek 120. His name is Evan Cloyd, and he became popular because he did videos where he was performing street magic and doing all the shtick, French kiss, which I think is the worst fucking card trick of all time. That's a rant for a different day. But what's a rant for today? Fuck, what are you fucking doing, mate? You're fucking folding up a card. First of all, this deck has been in your pocket for God knows how long. You're folding it in you're putting it in your mouth. You're getting close to shut up. All right. Don't make a card change with another card in a different way that doesn't involve.
And it's not like it's even that innovative. It like the 2-card transposition using a duplicate has been around since time fucking began. The only thing that's been added to this is let's fold it up and shove it in our mouths and kiss.
Or be close to each other. Like just hover around me, dude. Just fucking get close to me. And fuck, whatever. But the point is that he got really popular doing street magic videos, and he was also a professional wrestler at the time. So he made what I thought was the most egotistical documentary I've ever seen. It's an 1.5-hour documentary on himself, produced by himself, going over street magic and talking about his life and people, in his life, talking about him performing. And it's funny to talk about him him being straight edge. So this guy at this point in his life did not consume any drugs, any alcohol. He was completely straight edge. And fast forward a couple years later, this man hit the fucking wall, just aggressive. Yeah, there's this video of him like, oh, here's my diary. I'm gonna be fucking recording my drug sort of rehab journey. And he started doing videos where he was talking about his battles with demons and how he got into opiates and a lot of drugs, and he hit the wall hard. And he hit the wall even harder when he got arrested for fucking a child, essentially. The actual so I'm not speaking out of my asshole. Let me see, Evan Cloyd. But he ended up getting arrested. I try to find his mugshot, by the way, but he got 15 years in prison. And I believe the actual crime itself was under 14, I believe, was the So sexual assault, aggravated sexual assault of a child under 14 in Texas. So this guy went from straight edge, being on top of the YouTube world, getting I believe he had a million subscribers on the platform, or close to it. If not a million, then
I think at the time he was one of, like 20 years ago, wherever it was, he was one of the biggest YouTubers in the world. Possibly, this might be a bit wrong. I think he was or had the most subscribers for a brief moment in YouTube's timeline, I think.
Yeah. Blew up completely. He was killing it, thriving. And also at this, he got some gigs doing professional wrestling. He was on Raw, Monday Night Raw. He got beat the fuck up by he did Lloyd what's called a jobber match. A jobber is when you are essentially a peon. You're cannon fodder for
a jobber getting peon. Isn't that what Jamie Randi was looking for? He was looking for
that's what he was like.
And peon.
He was looking for hey, yeah, do you do blowjobs? Do you do that old man mouth thing, which is just so weird. They caught it perfectly in that fucking recording of him. You guys do blowjobs? Dude, you're in a.
I do realize that the title of this podcast is definitely going to be James Randi's dick.
James Randi's dick, yeah, right. No, it's cock. Sounds better.
Oh,
James Randi's cock.
We can make that.
But he's
Randi's witch's finger.
Good one, Lloyd. Fuck, I'm glad that you bombed like I did. I'm glad that you had one bomb, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. You've been killing it this entire podcast.
It's probably definitely like a witch's finger, though. It's like a little.
Well, now it's nothing.
I don't know why it was like a homing device.
For underage boy mouths. But so Evan Cloyd, aka Jarek 120, yeah, recently got arrested. And what's weird is that he was posting videos because this was he was recently arrested in 2026, so this year, but the case was from fucking 2024, and he was coming out with
Wow.
these videos talking about his journey and his journey back to sobriety. Uh, all while these things were looming over his head. And I remember this because I did it on my podcast, the Pigcast, where I watched a video of him just fucking losing it during a performance of Invisible Deck. And, you know, at the time, you don't want to make fun of it because he's obviously going through a very tough time in his life, dealing with drugs. And he starts doing the Invisible Deck. And he took the video down, by the way. The only record of it, I think, is on my podcast, which is funny. But dude, he's doing the Invisible Deck at a barber shop, and he just breaks down. He goes, I haven't done this in a while. I've been so imagine your pattern, by the way, for the Invisible Deck. Usually it's like, oh, here's an Invisible Deck. Go ahead. Oh, take it out the box first. Great. Okay. Give them a mix and separate them. Yeah, do that. Mix them and then separate them into red and black. You got that? Wonderful. So his pattern is talking about his battles with demons and doing drugs and fucking hitting the wall and being homeless. That's his pattern because he started crying
Engage.
in the middle of it. So he goes, oh, name a card. I'm sorry, I just haven't done this in a while. I've been addicted to drugs. I've been homeless. My girlfriend broke up with me. My very hot Indian girlfriend broke up with me. Oh, okay, 7 of hearts, great. I have a deck of cards here. Sorry, I haven't done this. And he just breaks down, dude. And it's so fucking bad. And now I can make fun of it because he fucking is a rapist. So it's all right.
Absolutely smash his little ones.
Yeah. So, but that was just a weird thing to see because he stopped posting for a long time. So imagine you have the straight edge magician who's a professional wrestler who's, you know, on top of the YouTube game in terms of magic and stuff. And then the next video you see is like 6 years later, and he's fucking just like he's got that dowsing.
Real and young guns.
He's got that fentanyl stare. You know what I'm talking about? The Floyd Smolder.
What?
And he's just the Floyd, George Floyd, and he's just staring through, just fucking just. All right, guys. So here's day one. You haven't seen me in a while, but I've been, and it's in his car, and it's obvious that he hasn't slept for days. I mean, you could still look up his channel. There's a lot of videos there. Still, he didn't take them down before he, you know, is getting taken down by Tyrone in prison. But it's just the rise and fall, man. And the fall was so fucking catastrophic for him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he brought it on
Wow.
himself. I always am surprised. I mean, this is an extreme case. You know, a guy that what's happened to this guy is an extreme case. But I'm always surprised. YouTube in general, but especially magic YouTubers that do magic. I'll find a YouTube account because I'm searching something up and I'm looking for something, and I'll find a YouTube account, and they'll have like 500,000 subscribers, and all of their views are like really high. But the last video they posted were like 3 years ago or 4 years ago. And you see a lot of like people that were obviously big in the YouTube game when it came to magic that seemingly just vanished off the face of the earth. And I've always wondered what made them get to a point where they've obviously achieved a level of success. Every video has high figures. Every video, you know, the subscribers, and you know, you see on the last video, you look at the comments, and it's like, "Where are you? We miss you. We miss you." And they've just disappeared. And they've not said anything to their community or the people that have followed them for all those years. They've just disappeared, and it always surprises me that that's the case. Because even as a YouTuber myself with a small channel, even if I decided to shut down Magic TV, I wouldn't just fucking leave it. I'd be like, right, okay, this is the end. Let me explain why. And it's just kind of a surprising thing for me, you know? Don't know what you
Pussy.
guys think.
I think
Pussy. They discovered pussy.
there's
Yeah.
that. There's, yeah, they
Yes.
realized that there's
Slit.
more
They
to
found a
life
slit.
than-
They found a wet.
But
and
I
slit,
think
and they said,
also for most people who get big on YouTube, in some way, shape, or form, they're hardworking and entrepreneurial, and you have a lot of. For the most part, there are people who have like wild success out of luck, like you know, they go viral for a video they never planned on going viral. But for the most part, you have to be like entrepreneurial. You got to be hardworking, and you got to have initiative. And I think that once you learn those skills, they're applicable completely to everything outside of YouTube as well. So I think some people it's almost like a practice ground for like the world of business and life. They come on, they fucking find a method that works to, you know, keep them accountable and strict and blow the channel up. And then they probably just find that like they go on and find a better, more profitable or more interesting. There is also the other thing of burnout as well. Like I've gotten not close to quitting YouTube, but I've got a few times I've gone for like a stint of maybe like a month without posting or updating anyone, purely because I just need to decompress. And I can easily see that month for some people turning into 12 months, turning into 2 years, 3 years, because sometimes it just gets really fucking hard to grind it out. And I suppose that the other reason is why are some people in it? Like some people purposefully go out to blow up a YouTube channel to get rich. And if they find that on the way to doing that, there's a more profitable avenue, then there's no real need to continue the YouTube and they can just leave it dead. I started my YouTube channel to give back to the Magic community. I was fed up at having all my ideas monetized by a company. So I wanted to just try and give away as much as I could. So for me, my reasons for being on YouTube is not monetarial. Where if it is, which is completely, absolutely fine to do, if somebody, you know, if somebody wants to just get rich on YouTube, which is a job, and they find they're getting rich elsewhere, then it makes no sense to try it. They could have common courtesy, tell their viewers why they've left, but it might just be a general like channel that has no, they may feel they don't have a community, but they have people who tune in to watch their DIY hacks, whatever it is, you know? And so they're like, well, I'm on to better things. So it could just be that.
Yeah.
All three of us are very community based in our channels. We're like, it's to do with the art and the passion. So we would never be able to really leave without an explanation. Whereas, you know, you see these like movie review. I don't know. There's a bunch of channels where like it's not heavily about the community, and those can just take it or leave it.
Well, yeah, imagine there's a lot of people like Pandrea's one that he had his channel, then he turned into a sort of a finance channel that he started up. I don't know if you know that, but he had like a whole house, like a housing finance channel, and he found more success there, and he's been doing that more than Magic. So it's kind of, but it's a weird thing because that is the case. I think for the majority, Lloyd, where it's you have all the skills that you've learned either through editing or video work or you know, all the many things that you need in order to do a YouTube channel, because there is a lot that goes behind it, more than just turning on a camera. There's, you know, editing and audio and those are skills.
Marketing in a loose
Marketing,
sense.
yeah.
The marketing your videos.
And
I
then you
don't
can
think a
parlay
lot
that.
of people in the community realize how hard it is to do YouTube and how much time and effort it takes. I don't think unless you've gone down that journey, I don't think people realize. It's like, oh, how hard is it just to stick on a camera and just upload a video? It's hard.
Yeah, and it's also not rewarding because oftentimes you'll find yourself, at least me too, where you put effort. You know, you go through what's called like I forgot what the term is in fucking video work, but it's like a video or a king video or something to that, where you putting effort and you go to a place, you're, you know, sourcing things, and the video doesn't get any views, and you're sort of you're rewarded with nothing, you know, but you still trog along. And I think people don't push past that little hump. And that's what I was saying, I think, to you, Craig, when you ever interviewed me about like YouTube stuff. And it also happens at the higher end, at the top end of the spectrum, where you just experience burnout, or maybe it's not giving you the same sort of, you know, dopamine hit that it gave you when you first started making content, and you move on to bigger things. And but the other part too, which is interesting, I don't know if you guys have a take on it, which is when you sort of start with Magic and then you move on to other things and become infinitely more successful. And it's happened to so many people, like Pandrea, it's happened to him, McKinnon, Ramsey, Andre Jick, all these guys that you start doing essentially Magic, and then you find a niche in a fucking completely different community. McKinnon found it with photography. Ramsey found it with puzzles. Jick found it with investing. I think
Now Ramsey's even bigger with alien stuff.
with alien shit. So it's fucking weird because
But the thing is, I would never, if I've made videos about marketing that have done really, really well outside of Magic. I love Magic too much to stop doing the YouTube channel about Magic.
Yeah, so here's the thing. So I know McKinnon, Ramsey, like I fucking worked with them, traveled with them. I know the guys, and there's a difference between those two and it's what Craig's about to say now, which is, and I don't want to speak out of turn or say things differently, but I remember McKinnon was always passionate about YouTube, like mainly like YouTube video photography, but like that world. Ramsey was always super passionate about YouTube, like loves magic. But like I remember he was like, I want to blow up on YouTube. And I always got the sense, and again, I could be completely wrong, but I think you could see from what he's done, it was his ambition was to blow up on YouTube by any means necessary, with magic as like with magic being like his personal hobby. Whereas for me, Craig, and I think probably you, I think personally I could blow up on YouTube in a different niche, like massive, with the abilities and stuff like that I have potentially, not guaranteed, but I think I'd have a good chance of doing it by following or replicating different formulas. However, I just don't give a fuck about anything other than magic. Like I straight up do not give a shit. Like like me and Jake, funnily enough, me and Jake were going to start a podcast about the weird and the strange world of like aliens and stuff before Ramsey did his Area 52 channel. And then I come out with like, maybe we should hold off on that. So I do have side hobbies. Like I love aliens and UFOs. I'm really interested in like running and photography and shit. But I'm not on YouTube to blow up on YouTube. I'm on YouTube because I fucking love magic and I just want to share it. And I know that I don't know. I'm pretty damn sure, 80% sure.
Yeah,
that
well,
I blew a
look,
lot
you
fucking
made a
well through it.
channel. You made a channel about renovating your house, and you got shit tons of subscribers. And that was just a simple, hey, watch me renovate my house.
Well, not really though. But that was for different. We put that up for a very different reason. I'll tell you.
No. What I'm saying that proves that if you wanted to blow up on YouTube away from YouTube, you could have, because I know what the reason was.
No, not really. I didn't put a lot of effort into those videos at all. Like I think I would, if I was going to blow up on YouTube, realistically, right? It would probably be something through trend hack. It depends what type of way you consider blowing up on YouTube. A, do you consider it with high earning videos, or B, do you consider it with high views? Because there are two different things. If you can get people to watch long videos in like, say for example, there was the finance field, right? They have the highest CTR, which is the click-through rate, whatever it is, or the CPM, is it? Clicks. So finance.
CBT.
Yeah, couple and torture. So if I was to want to make high yield on my videos, I'd do finance videos, long form, and try and get lots of viewers. If I wanted to blow up, I would do and just get loads of views. I would do trend hacking. I would look for what the most popular 10 things in Google to search for, whichever one I had a slight knowledge base in or could share some interesting insights from different angles. I would do that, and I would do it with high production quality. I would do it like with choppy edits and engaging hooks, and then separate that up into shorts and direct people to the channel. And it would just become a full-time job, but I'm pretty confident I could do it. But I don't give a fuck. I just love magic. I just love magic. No, I don't think all three of us can confidently say YouTube does not earn for us, and we probably put more effort into it than a lot of people in other niches.
Yep. Because
dude,
I was doing, and I know it's for you as well. It's not about making money. YouTube's not about making money. It's about giving back.
Dude, I was doing my taxes for YouTube. Like YouTube sends you the tax form. It didn't even reach the threshold on YouTube what I made for fucking like any sort of alert on the IRS. They're just like, they don't even file it. Like it's pathetic, dude. I owe money to YouTube essentially. So they sent me a fucking invoice for using their fucking taking up precious resource space on their fucking platform. That's what it felt like to me with that fucking shit. God damn. I don't know. I'm sure, we're in order. I don't know if that's the case when it comes to how this is actually going to be produced, but I'm sure we're in order of revenue on YouTube with Lloyd on top, Craig, and then me all the way in the bottom next to Evan Cloyd.
I think Craig does the most revenue compared to me and him because he does the longest video. So like I'll get like, I don't know what my last video got, like between 5 and 10,000 on average views. But I'll post like that one video that week, which in terms of watch hours, Craig will get more. He'll post more videos and they're longer. Like, and these podcasts go on Craig's channel too. So I think Craig probably triples my income on YouTube.
I doubt it, dude. That's very fucking much doubt it, but...
Craig's been reading, dude. I think Craig's been reading because the secret is not really anything. It's just reading how to read your own mind. All
Yeah.
right. That's how you find success on YouTube. You read your own mind, you listen to Ost Proman, and you turn into him. I'm gonna cut my hair like him. I'm gonna get the teeth done in Turkey, dude. I'm gonna read the Torah. I'm in there, dude. I'm fucking dick deep after reading that book. I'm gonna run marathons, ultra marathons.
Dude, I can see how excited you are. It's wonderful.
Yeah, his boner is sticking up out of in the frame.
I want to talk about I want to talk about something else, but very quickly, just because we talked about it last week, just as an update, and I'd rather fucking rip my dick off and beat myself to death with the soggy end than fucking talk about this anymore. But for the one person that's actually fucking interested, the Jerks versus Unnamed Magician, we're not talking about this. Lloyd has reached out to the Unnamed Magician and has asked for some performance videos. Why it's taking him so long, I don't fucking know. We thought we'd have performance videos, but then just before the podcast started, Lloyd was informed that he hasn't got them yet for whatever fucking bullshit reason this week. So we're going to put a pin in it. And if the Unnamed Magician can magic a fucking performance video out of his ass, we'll revisit this when that happens. Is that fair to say, Lloyd?
Super fair to say, yeah, because I still haven't replied to Andy. I still haven't replied to the Unnamed Magician. I messaged 12 hours ago. And I said, yo, we're recording in 12 hours. You got those performances. And he had set up a performance with spectators or time for spectators to come and meet him somewhere. And then they bailed. So as it stands, I'm always going to be an optimist. However, as it's getting further and further away, it does seem like, he's not providing the things. With that being said as well, the Jerk put up a post last night saying that he's going to put it all to bed tomorrow. So maybe he's got his proof that, we said last week that if the Jerks can show that conversation to confirm that he got confirmation of the method, which would kind of just settle the case as well, because they both are saying they've got the evidence to settle the case. This is the basic flat line of it all, right? There's some inconsistencies with the timeline from the Jerks of what he's saying happened, but the reality is both of them are saying they have the evidence to shut down the accusations. Neither have provided them yet. The Jerk says he's going to put it to bed tomorrow. Hopefully he just says okay, look, here's that conversation that proves it, done. That's really the only way it could probably shut it down for 100%. And the Unnamed Magician is yet to give us the performances. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I really want to give him the benefit of the doubt. As time ticks on, the performances are not coming. So we wait one more week. I think it should be an official deadline. These come up what is it, by the 12th of May or the 13th of May?
By the next week's episode, we'll put it to bed one way or another. But we're not going to talk about it anymore. What I do want to talk about, Lloyd, Pigcake, that a lot of people in the community are talking about right now, is the Rolex system. So let me give everybody who's listening the brief overview, and then I could love to hear it from you guys, what you think, because there's a lot of controversy going on in the community. The Magic Cafe is kicking off. Facebook pages are kicking off. Magicians Only is kicking off. Basically, effectively, the Rolex system was released at Blackpool 2026. It promises to be the closest thing that you're going to see to pure mind reading. And it's a new system, a new technique that's going to allow you to make it look like you can really read people's minds. And it's propless. There's no electronics. There's no nothing. It's a propless mentalism technique. It was released at Blackpool, and they were charging, I think, £100 just to have a demo of this trick. So you couldn't just go up to a booth and see it. You had to pay £100 just to get a demo. After Blackpool, now in the last few days, it has been released through Vanishing Ink at a price of $1,000 or just under £800. It's been released through Vanishing Ink. There are no video performances at all. They have said that it's a system that allows you to know what somebody's thinking of out of a list of 8 items, but there are things on there that allow you to do a Q&A to the whole audience or something like that. And a lot of people are kicking off. It's all you get for your $1,000, by the way, is you get a PDF. You get a PDF. I think you might get a bonus PDF as well. There's no videos. There's no nothing. For your $1,000, you're getting a couple of PDFs. People are saying this is not how Magic should be marketed. This is ridiculous. That people are saying that the reason, apparently, from the creator, the reason that there's no video demo, there's nothing like that, is because a magician would be able to work out how it works if they saw a performance of it. And so they're protecting the secret by not having a video demo. Magicians are then arguing back and forth, saying, well, would it be obvious to a layperson as well? There's other people that are saying that, something like this, where it's a technique, would be taught in a lecture, or it'd be a decade ago, it'd be taught in a lecture, it'd be taught in a book, potentially maybe an ebook for 50 quid or 30 quid or whatever. It might even be taught in a magazine or something like that. But the fact that it's being charged $1,000 for not even a physical product, but for a technique, effectively, you're just buying a PDF to learn this technique, and the marketing will not explain what's going on or what it is, beyond the fact, I believe, that they've said that it's a little bit like an anagram, but nothing is spoken. And the community's up in arms. A lot of people are very unhappy about the way that it's being marketed. And let's get your thoughts, guys.
I've
I was
seen
gonna
the
say two
creators do
things.
this live to me. One.
Two things, by the way. If I wanted to see a PDF file, I'd just go to Epstein Island.
Or go and watch Copperfield's last show.
Or watch
Get
Jim
in,
pay
get
for
in,
the final.
get in.
Okay. I'm sorry, I ruined a joke. Fucking Lloyd, I'm sorry. And secondly, it's been taken down. It's been taken down from Vanishing Ink. Breaking news. It's no longer Vanishing Ink.
It
Well,
was there, though, right?
apparently they removed Vanishing Ink. Apparently removed testimonials from the page itself and from the trailer in the
Yeah.
early hours or something. And now, well, apparently now they removed the product entirely. Can I just say
Don't they?
two things? Yeah, can I say two things? I met the creator. He's performed this on me in Blackpool. I'm going to start with this though. I don't think this is controversial. You said that people have been saying this is not how Magic should be marketed or sold, and you're only paying $1,000 for a PDF. Absolutely fucking drop dead with that opinion. Anyone who thinks that. If somebody's got an amazing piece of magic, they can put it out in whatever format for whatever price they want, and everyone can suck a dick. For example, I bet what is both of you? What's one of those tricks that you've done 10,000 hours of performing with?
Oh, yeah.
Fucking
I
his
am,
world.
I'm
Yeah.
a big believer of people being able to charge whatever they want to.
Yeah.
So a lot of my act, before he passed away, Scott Alexander, my great favorite magician of all time, he used to sell a fucking cardboard box with a thumb tip and a silk streamer, and he'd charge 400 quid. I've bought things from Scott that I've paid literally thousands for, and they're in my act in every single show that I do. I paid fucking, I think, 350 quid for Superfly, which was 5 envelopes and a really badly made fucking zombie and a cloth that looks like it got picked up from a marketplace for like 10 quid. But I have literally, that's taken me around the world and back again. I am very protective of people being able to charge whatever they want.
Yeah,
I'll say
exactly.
that.
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
saying, like, if I've had 10,000 hours on Crazy Man's handcuffs. Yeah, if someone said to me, marketed it the same way, right? I didn't know what it looked like. I hadn't seen it. There was no video demo, but someone said you could put a rubber band in someone's hand and you can slowly melt the rubber band in your hand through theirs in super slow motion, ultra visually, no gimmicks, however you want to, word it up to make it sound sexy. And it's $1,000. And I could know in hindsight the mileage and the reactions I could get from it. I would drop $1,000 on it instantly. If that was the price tag and that was the only way I was allowed to perform it, no questions asked. I'm sure Toucan Monty, right? If someone said the only way you can do this, guys, for most people to do it, well, out of this world, like you said, Pigcake, is you got to drop 10K on it, but you're going to use it until you're 80. Probably going to pay 10K for it. Probably going to do it because it's worth it. However, that being said, is it worth, in the eyes of the beholder, the price that's put on it? In this case, I can speak on my experience of what I saw of the effect, because people are complaining that you have to pay to see a demo. Fuck off. It's up to the creator if he wants to let you watch it for free or not. But I can tell you what I
Yeah,
saw.
you don't have to get it. You don't have to
Yeah,
get
you
it.
don't have to. Yeah, yeah. It's like the guy has something that you might want, but you might have to pay to see it. That's not. It's his discretion, not yours. If you don't want to pay to see it, shut the fuck up, right? Because you don't need anything in your life other than fucking water and food and oxygen, right? You don't need
Calm.
anything in your life. Yeah, of
I need
course.
calm.
Mountains and gallons of it.
Don't
So,
worry.
for my
Seats in your hometown, you got that covered.
I can't fully in explicit detail remember the full performance, but I can give to you the key points that will help people decide on
Can
whether
I
this
just
is
ask, did you pay for this performance? Did you pay
No,
to
he
go?
came up to my. I was performing the Vanishing Elephant, and he came and introduced himself. I had spoken about it. I'd seen the video testimonials from Pete Turner, who's now making love to Pigcakes, Frying Pan.
Yeah.
And some other people were in it. And I made a Blackpool video, the things that I'm most excited to see at Blackpool. I said, look, this is the video testimonials. Again, I say, look, it's $1,000, but it could be worth it. So he came up and introduced himself to me. Shade Khan, his name is. And from what I remember, and again, this is I have a bad memory at the best of times. Like Jake Keane described me as the butler from Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider video game yesterday. Just puttering along, fucking forgetting shit, dodgery and stuff.
What a fucking reference.
Yeah, because he's like, I've got dementia, which I actually believe I do have some form of like memory issues coming on because there's stuff going on. Anyway, it's another story for another day. I don't think I've got memory issues. But from what I can remember, and again, I am very clearly stating that my memory is not perfect on this. Shay asked me to, he said, I'm going to read to you. No, I've read the fucking books, the Harry Ray shit. I only remember how to spell, So he came up to me and I said, can you show me the Rolex system? He said, yeah. He said, I'm going to name 10 places. I want you to think of one. And it was like ice rink, swimming pool, airport, forest, and other places like that. So I thought of one of the 10 items on the list, the list that he said out loud. I think I thought of ice rink, or swimming pool. One of those ones. I thought of it. Then he asked me some form of he turned his back to me. Okay. Or like to the side, back side, whatever. And then he said something along the lines of, can you pick out one of the letters from your word with your right hand and put it in your pocket? Or can you pick out a letter? And I had the option to either take the letter in the air or not. And then he revealed, and then it was a little bit of fishing and felt like PA sort of work. And then he revealed the item that I was thinking of. So, that's what I remember. That's my experience of it. Again, my memory is not crystal clear, but those are the key points. I was given a list. He turned his back or turned to the side, and then there was some sort of progressive anagram, and I had to do something. It was like put my hand in my pocket or take it, but it was something to do with like one of my arms.
No, what is he selling that's new here?
I think potentially the idea of not being able to see the person, and then you know what they're thinking based off actions they partake in.
Right.
Well, I could read the ad copy here if you guys want me to.
Yeah, go for it.
So he mentions here the Rolex system is not a trick. Previously, anagrams were limited to one-on-one performance. The Rolex methodology changes that, allowing anagrams to be performed invisibly and simultaneously across a full theater, while the performer knows exactly which one of the 8 options each and every spectator selected. The key points are no speaking, no cues, no psychological forces, no pre-show, no electronics, no apps, no math, no fishing, and no information ever given. Yet the performer could walk up to any spectator or remain on stage and instantly reveal their exact thought. This is real-time mass mind reading. Inside, you'll learn the cognitive architecture, that makes real psychic entertainment possible on command. Tools we use forever. Included is the Rolex Q&A edition, which includes the closest thing to how a real psychic would perform Q&A with generally thought of questions, perfect for stage, parlor, whatever, a completely original method, a once-in-a-generation idea, and a foreword by Michael Weber. $1,000 for qualified performers only. To inquire, here's a WhatsApp number.
Right.
So that's what's on
From what, all I can base it on, because that's just a lot of fucking ChatGPT words there. All I can base it on is what Lloyd has said. I'm not seeing it in front of a big audience and Q&As and all of that. All I can see is Lloyd was given a list of 8 items and he thought of one, and through a process, because there is a process there, he was able to work out which word he was thinking of. As far as I'm concerned, that is not worth $1,000. Being able to work out one word from a list of 8, there's a million different ways that you could achieve that without needing as much process. I think that sometimes magicians trick themselves into thinking that propless is the way to go. You look at people like Pete Turner and you see him divine someone's star sign, and it makes you go, yeah, propless mentalism is the way forward. But there's very few people like Pete Turner that can do that. Something like this, honestly, if I wanted somebody to think of one of 8 items, I'd probably just fuck it. If you performed this, if you mastered the binary, the Rolex system, whatever it is, and performed it to a spectator, and then you did the same thing with 8 billets, and you wrote 8 words on there, and you did a really well-constructed series of equivoque, there's probably no difference really in the grander scheme of things. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't see what's worth $1,000 here.
Let me.
what he's selling.
Let me.
Yeah, go ahead. You're like, sorry.
Well, Daniel Chard said in Magicians Only, I read on the cafe that it's a 1 in 8 with little justification, which is one brand is mental. Shade, the creator, comments in, and this might be why it's $1,000, and I haven't read the comment yet. 1 in 8 is the basic version, which is what I saw. There wasn't 1 in 10. The Rolex system allows you to do a 6-person Q&A mass reading sequence in which the audience can think of anything, not limited to 1 in 8 options. And you can reveal PIN numbers, memories, movies, names, etc. All with a simple 20-second process that is done once with the whole audience while your eyes are closed and genuinely blindfolded. All this is not widely known, however. Every single person that's part of the Rolex community has praised the bulletproof and simple propless approach. Even electronics cannot match what you can do with the Rolex system in terms of speed and interactivity. There's no other propless effect in the history of mentalism that allows you to do all this at speed with a theater full of people without any pre-show or props, all while using just your voice. And then Daniel Rhodes says, didn't you say in your video on Vanishing Ink, it's a 3-step anagram that it's for 1 in 8 options? Now you were saying something. Either way, it would have been worth showing in your video. So there's a lot of confusion here. And Shay Khan says, it's an invisible anagram. I use the term anagram loosely as that's the closest way to describe it, but they never say anything out loud. Yes, they will never speak their thought out in the performance, only when you have revealed their thought. You'll pick 6 people from the audience and ask one to think of their PIN number, favorite movie, star sign, best friend's name, and you reveal each and every person's thought.
Okay, here's my thought process on this. That whole Q&A to a whole audience, that sounds like the sort of bonus thing that you throw in because you don't want people to think it's just a 1 in 8 shot. If that is as strong as he's saying, film a video of him doing it to a live audience in front of hundreds of people, skip out the first 20 seconds where he's doing the process that needs to be done once to 20 people, because if that's the thing that makes it work, and from that point on, you can take people's thoughts and PIN numbers and all of that bollocks, and it's literally, you do a 20-second process first in order to get to that point. Great. I am more than happy for him to film a live show, skip that 20-second induction process or whatever it is, and then just show me the rest of it.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people. There's like 3 people in the comments saying they got it and they think it's very good.
Okay. I guess the mass portion is what he's selling. That it's a thing that's able to be done to a good group of people. That you're doing again. Propolis is the buzzword, right? It seems to be anytime that you mention propolis, people get these fantasies in their heads, like, oh, now I'm going to be able to, without any compromise whatsoever, be Darren Brown and do the same stuff that you see on TV. But what you don't see is you see the fluid motion of the duck on the water, but you don't see their legs just fucking percolating underneath the surface, essentially. But they're seeing that, and that's what they want. But that's not what you're gonna get. And that's the sort of crux of just marketing. But it just seems to me like he's selling that heavier than anything, that it's something that you could do to a larger crowd, not just one individual.
Honestly, I feel like again, I've only seen the basic version. I feels like his marketing is a bit shit, and because it's very confusing. Like someone that's seen it versus reading what's online compared to what's advertised. There's just so much different messaging, so much confusion, and so much being kept in the shade that although yes, $1,000 doesn't mean, and it might be a great system. Even though I've seen it and I kind of think I know what's going on for the basic version, at least, his marketing is all over the shop, right? So that needs to be cleared up first and foremost. I mean, it doesn't have to be. He can do what he wants, but if he wants to get this popular and he wants people using it and he wants to earn, then he needs to clear that up. Just from what Craig said earlier is you can achieve the same potentially with simpler methods, which is also true. I am always in pursuit of the next best thing, so I am kind of like with it and against it in a sense. Not against it, but I do like people that are trying to push things further. And there are certain like I would have paid $1,000 for Pete Turner's Rock the Star Sign Revelation. The amount I've used that, how good it is, how fast and instant it is. Now, the thing with Pete's one, you can't do any sort of pin number with that. So I suppose we're comparing apples to oranges here. Because if you can with the Rolex system, which people who seem to have bought it seem to be agreeing with, really, I think what it comes down to is the silent propolis anagram saying, which is actually the bit where you take something invisibly in the air or
here's the question then, Lloyd. If it is legitimate and people like it, and I'm reading the Magic Cafe at the moment, and there's people in there that are saying they wish they hadn't bought it. So it's like apples for oranges. Why has Vanishing Ink pulled it? Because Vanishing Ink wouldn't pull a product just based on a bit of controversy, as the Atomic deck would have gone on week one. Like they pulled it. Normally, the only time they've pulled something in the past is if they feel it's completely dishonest. And I'm not saying that's the case here, but it's a bit odd that it's been completely pulled. First of all, they removed endorsements from it, and then the whole thing got pulled. That screams volumes because Andy and Josh, despite the fact that they are the evil overlords of the Magic community, they are very ethical.
Yeah, the evil overlords.
It was
Sorry,
but yeah, they did the same bit with the world's greatest card trick. So they had the greatest card trick in the world by Hector Mancha, who performed it on Foolus. I believe the card trick sold for about $400, and it was the same argument being made on the price, and it's no longer available. I think it's because that also offered a limited sort of
sessions.
Yeah, like sessions, and maybe he's not available to do that anymore. But this one, that is interesting. That is interesting because this one, it doesn't offer any sort of, you have, on Vanishing Ink, you get access to a sort of
exclusive. Yeah, was that world's greatest card trick? They did say that it was going to be a limited time and there were only going to be certain people who could buy it because it was going to be a one-on-one session with the creator teaching you how to make it. And you knew what the effect was because you saw his Fool's performance. There was no ambiguity there. It was like...
Here's the likely scenarios that I think have played out behind the scenes. A, Vanishing Ink might think it's false advertising. B, the jerk said people have already pulled the testimonials from the product and the video. So maybe all the people in the testimonials said, actually, we don't want to put our names to this. So they had nothing to market, right? Because essentially that is the marketing for this, is the testimonials. Or potentially see, and again, these are all hypothetical outcomes or scenarios. They could have just gone, we don't think it's worth that price, so we're not going to make it available. Not saying it's false marketing, but after reviewing the documents, they might go, that's a $20 trip. So we feel disingenuous doing it at 1,000. Which, well, I would aim more towards that.
I was gonna say, do you feel like what you saw it could be parlayed to a PDF that's $1,000? Like, do you feel like that could be, or because it seems like what you described is almost reminiscent of like Enigma by Christian Grace. That's sort of a propolis word divination, right? Again, I hate propolis shit. I hate the idea of propolis for the sake of propolis, just for magic porn, because that's all this is. It's magic porn.
I'm trying to think. Right. So for propolis stuff, $1,000 is subjective and it's relative, right? It's relative to what you can afford in your day-to-day life. It's subjective to where you are and how much you perform, and it's relative to what you think is a high price tag or is a low price tag, right? So like to David Copperfield, I shouldn't have used him, but to David Copperfield, you can pay $1,000 for anything, right? To low lives like us, like $1,000, it's the price of a bottle of milk. I don't know. I don't care. I'm so rich. Get in. Fuck. So okay, I'll say this. I think Pete Turner's anagram starts on anagram system. Knowing what I know now and the years that I've got from it, I would have paid $1,000 for.
Okay, you would have. Yeah. But imagine a situation where you had to, right? Because you could say a value like, I know, yeah, true. And we get as magic influencers, I'm sure you get your fair share of tricks. You don't have to pay for shit. But like you're saying, you would pay.
No, I mean, like none of it. No. I mean, what I mean is that the only thing I have to pay for and that I would need to is water, food, roof.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
So I can't imagine a situation where I'd have to.
Here, you have to pay $1,000 to learn this thing that's been marketed in a way that's not necessarily true. Because at least based on what you saw or what you experienced, there still needs to be some visual compromise there. You're doing a process, right? Obviously, anything involves a process, but you're doing a process that involves having to see some aspect of it, whether that's the during or the aftermath, which is
okay. I'll say this. Straight down the line.
Sorry, I'll just say one thing. There's a guy called Muffin on the Magic Cafe.
This is all
because he was fucked by Mr. Kipling.
Yeah, there's a guy called Muffin on the Magic Cafe, right? And he, I'm just trying to find it. He said, "I own this. The endorsement of tricks in magic does seem to be insidious. Often it's the same related group of individuals making endorsements their friends. I suspect the endorsements for this product are illegitimate, but they probably didn't pay for it. When I bought this, and I did pay for it, I did the procedure, which is the bit that's new. I said, okay, if you haven't looked, then I'm fooled. I can't remember how this was confirmed. Turns out, having read it, you do need to look. Based on that, I wasn't fooled and instead wouldn't have purchased or would have expected to pay normal money."
The odd comment to say that it's worth more if you were fooled. For me, it's not about if you were fooled. Is it good?
You know what? That's the thing with magicians, man. Magicians will buy stuff because they're fooled. Look at how many people bought into the Unnamed Magician's open prediction just because they were fooled. They didn't know the method. They just want magicians. A lot of social performers, especially, they hang around other magicians. They hang around at conventions. They want that killer trick that's going to fuck magicians up. Look at Enigma. I firmly believe Enigma by Christian Grace was as popular as it was because it fooled a bunch of people. No one could understand how it worked, and they wanted to be able to do it. I do not know one person that's doing Enigma other than maybe Christian Grace that's bought it. Now, that's not necessarily saying it's a bad trick. I'm not saying that at all, but it's very procedure heavy. There's a lot to remember. There's a lot to do. It's not as simple as direct as people thought it was. And and there's a lot of stuff going on. I think the magicians love this idea of, oh my God, I can fool somebody with this. I'll pay, because don't forget, there's a lot of rich people that are hobbyists in magic. There's a lot of people that have a lot of money and they gravitate towards magic. I think a social performer that's not a pro, that has to like justify everything that they buy, that's got a good income coming in. They see something like this and they go, fuck me, I can do this. I can fool people with it. Shit. okay, I'll do that in a heartbeat. So yeah, that might not be your parameter, but I think it's the parameter of a lot of purchasers in the community.
Well, let me give you an
Yeah.
example, right? Because based on what Lloyd said, like when Christian showed me Enigma for the first time, he Jim paced me, right? Like I was in a different world. I was Evan Cloyded. I'm using their names as verbs now. I would have thought that that would have been so innovative what he did, because I thought of the word glass. I put his hands on my hands. He told me, "Oh, just imagine how many letters are in it. Try to spell it. Is this something you could see through? Imagine one of the words." And immediately he got glass, right? The word that I was thinking of. And I would
Yeah,
have
for the
thought,
record, I think Enigma is worth the price for sure.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm not saying
it's
it's not. I'm just saying
yeah.
I don't see a lot of people doing it.
But you don't like when you saw it, sort of taking away any sort of bias you might have for Kristen Grace. I thought that it was so innovative. I thought that it was such a fresh and nice way of getting it, just based on the effect that I saw. Now, obviously, there's a lot going on in the back end. You know, there's the possibility of an app getting involved or some sort of, a queue thing. But I felt absolutely crazy about Enigma just because of how clean it was for me.
Put presentation and effect first, which is why
Yeah.
it's so good.
And
I didn't
it
even-
delivered. That's the other thing.
And
It
you can do it.
delivered.
It's practical.
It delivers
So-
what he said he was going. What he said it would do.
So comparing that to the performance that you experienced, because you experienced both, I imagine. He performed
Yes,
Enigma
so
for you and the Rolex system. You don't feel or you don't sound as sort of hype for Rolex as much as
Yeah. So what I'll say down the line from what I witnessed, right? And I want to throw. I almost I can include Enigma here, but it's not Propolis. So it's not in the same category, but it certainly kind of it is Propolis from the audience's point of view. Nothing's written down, right, and things. So in a sense, it is, yeah. But I want to put Pete Turner's Star Sign anagram in here, progressive anagram in here. I think it's worth using this as a comparative tool. And the big difference between so Pete Turner's one, if you've ever had Pete do it to you or you've got it to a proficient level where you can perform it, it does not feel like it's done well in the eyes of the audience. It really doesn't feel like you're doing any sort of procedure in my experience. If it's done smoothly, and especially if you're if you're doing it with one person, then you're chopping and changing as the parts happen, it doesn't feel like it plays out like this, right? Think of a star sign, imagine it written in the air, and imagine those letters being scrambled, and then you just start saying, oh, there's this there, there's this there, there's this there. Oh yeah, exactly right. It's that. It doesn't feel like you're saying like yes, no. It feels very conversational, but doesn't feel, even though it's a procedure, it doesn't feel procedural. All right, at least to me. It does on the back end, but it's not on the outward end. If it's done well, it's more like a quick thing. At the moment they tell you no, you say, oh, let's just try this different method, and you wash it all away. It's slush. Christian Grace's thing, even though there is a procedure and it's very methodological in the background, from what they experience and what everyone else perceives, it's real, right? They think of a word, they touch your hands, you transfer that information, and you fucking know it. From both sides, as in like the singular spectator and the surrounding audience, it's real. There's no procedure, essentially, right? Or like the only procedure really is what's publicly being experienced. Same for the anagram, right? Everyone hears you everyone hears you, the mind readers say, there is this letter in this, there is this letter in this, there is this letter in this. It's like you're just nailing it, right? And then one hiccup and you're, never mind, let me try, and you're off. With Enigma, the experience from everyone's point of view is that you are, whatever you say is what's being seen. There's nothing deceptive or apparently deceptive. With the Rolex system, it's the only one of the three that feels procedural on the front end, I feel. And there is procedure obviously on the back end, but it was a little bit confusing to follow. I was very limited in my choice. And then as an audience member, I felt, I don't want to like shit on anyone, right? But just as an audience member, and I remember the bit that Muffin guy said where he asked him could he see or not. I'm pretty sure I asked the same question. I was like, oh, are you sure you can't see? And I remember I really wanted to make sure he couldn't see me. It was the difference with the other two, with Enigma and Pete's star sign, is that I never felt at any point I was giving away information, and I didn't want that the performer to know anything. Like it felt like at no point did I give something away. With the Rolex system, from what I remember, and again, this is he's saying this is just the very basic example, so could be different to the big thing. I was very aware and cautious, but I didn't want him to see what I was doing because it felt like I was giving away information. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
I never felt like
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
giving away information that could lead the magician to the answer for the other two, but I was very consciously aware that what I was physically doing was going to help as a punch.
Yeah. Two things on that. One, I don't think that we need that. You know, you said this isn't the big thing. No, there's two PDFs. The first PDF is the Rolex system. That is what he's selling. That is what he demonstrated to people at Blackpool. That's what he demonstrated to you at Blackpool. The other one is a second PDF teaching how to do this as a Q&A. We can't comment on that because he's not shown it to anybody. There's no videos on it. And even the people that were paying for a demo at Blackpool didn't get a chance to see how that part of side of things works. So we can only really base it on the Rolex system. And I completely agree with everything else that you've said. Also, out of the three of them, realistically, that's the only one that has a limited choice as well, a list. Now, Pete's star sign divination obviously is limited by the amount of stuff, but you're not limiting them. You like think of a star sign. Even though it's limited, it doesn't feel limited because you're like, hey, you're telling them their star sign. Obviously,
Yeah, it's happenstance that there's 12.
exactly. But you don't think of it as a limited choice. With Christians, you can think of literally any fucking word in the world. There's no
That you can hold.
limitation there.
That you can
Huh?
hold, I believe. I
Any
believe
ob-
it's
any- No,
yeah,
it's
any
anything.
object
Is it
that you
like
can hold.
animals, objects,
Yeah,
countries?
but it doesn't feel like it's been limited at all. It feels
Yeah.
like it's such a. Whilst with this, it's like, hey, let me tell you these 8 things. Think of one of them. It then becomes very limited. And my question would be, what are the parameters behind the 8 things that are being listed? Because if I have to have specific words or specific things in there,
Well, yeah. This is the other thing, and I really want to not be negative about this, but with the other two, the things that I was thinking of never felt odd, right? Star signs was like just think of your star sign, so it's personal information, lush. The other one was think of any object or country or animal or whatever. Like it was like that. Well, you can. It's like objects, countries, animals, whatever. So again, it's like think of fucking anything. And then with the Rolex system, it was like think of like a festival, a fucking ice rink, a swimming pool, and it was like it didn't feel. It felt like a puzzle.
Mm.
It didn't have.
Okay.
It didn't feel magical in any sense, and I think that's why I was so like, I feel like if I do anything now, you're gonna guess it. So I was like super like, you actually look, and that's not like me. I love to be the layperson. So when I was being the layperson, I was acting like this guy was told me he could do mind reading. So yeah, it was like it was so odd. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm thinking of fucking swimming pool. What? And it was like, but again, he says he can do star signs. And it might, this all might just come. And again, if Shay is listening to this, it might just be the case that he's just done the marketing really poorly, and he might have made 30 sales. He might have made 300 sales, right? And who are we to say it's done bad marketing? From my perspective, and probably from your perspectives too, if there are strings to this bow which are way better than what he's been demonstrating, then he's gone about it entirely the wrong way.
well, let's be honest. The bottom line is you saw it at Blackpool. You had your pockets full of elephant money, and you chose not to fucking buy the thing. And you love magic, so that's
Based off that performance, I would not buy it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem with, I mean, as a whole, right? Because the ones that mentioned here are. So go ahead. I don't want to
I
interrupt.
want to say one thing on this, right? However, when I read a comment saying that someone saw me perform the Vanishing Elephant at Blackpool, and based off my performance, they wouldn't buy it, and I completely agree with them. So it's really hard to judge a book by its cover in person because I have that bad lighting. I was literally in the worst setup possible for it, and I performed it 1,000 times that weekend. I was telling people I'm sick of it by like the second day. So it's really hard because he'd flown over from wherever he lives. He was showing people the basic version in a crowded area with thousands of people walking around. I even say in my book, and Fred quoted it in his video, I think like yesterday, which is like, don't judge a magic trick by its first ropey performance or by one ropey performance. So based off what I saw, that one performance, I wouldn't buy it. But again, like this is why I'm so cautious to like say anything bad about it. It could be really good. And he's just got, that's why I keep saying it just seems like he's done a really piss poor job of marketing it.
If I mean that's the case, but we don't know the sales. You're right. We don't know the sales, as you said. So it could have been that he sold more than enough of this. And keep in mind that it seems like the sort of thing that was, I don't want to say rushed the market, right? I don't want to say that because I don't know, right? I don't know if it's something that he's been working on forever, but it's a testament to Propolis stuff. That the good part about Propolis is that the method is usually the process, right? So that's the good part. The bad part is that the method is the process. And in mentalism, the shitty thing is that you have such ease of peeking and knowing what someone's thinking of, especially now. You could do it in a plethora of ways with billets. You could do it with phones. Now you could do it with anything. You could know what someone's thinking of fairly quickly in under 30 seconds by having them write it down, taking a peek, and you're good to go. So the downfall of that is that now you're less inclined to do a process, because the process for you, it's already been done because you're thinking method wise. But to them, it hasn't even started. When it comes to this Propolis stuff, the problem is that you have to do the process. The process is the method when it comes to Propolis shit. And oftentimes it becomes, it's a problem of, okay, here's a clever thing that I discovered, right? I discovered this Rolex system by either having somebody do something, and now by peeking at his hand, whether that's in his pocket, I know what he's thinking. And you feel like, yeah, okay, that's how he did it. And it's obvious. So what's the trick there? It doesn't feel like when a Propolis trick, the method is obvious because the process is overt, then you're fucked. You're shot in the water, which is what you were saying earlier about the Peter stuff. That, yeah, there is this process of asking him the words, asking him Craig's going on a shipbreak. My ramble on that's really funny. Fuck, my ramble on Propolis has made him want to take a shit. That's great.
Keep going.
No, but it's unfortunate that that's just it's magic porn, where you are essentially selling somebody this dream of having this Propolis no compromise method that's easy to do, that works on masses, but you can't show it. You're charging people for viewings. It's weird. You're right. Yeah, it's the marketing of it is just not there for it.
Yeah, and when I say marketing, right, regardless of if he's made money, as for his own brand or his effect, he's for the marketing of his effect. Don't worry about profits, but for the marketing of this effect, for what people are saying to get people, because everyone wants their magic to be well received. He hasn't done a very good job of it, right? If I was to have produced this product for him, right? So if he said, "This is my method, what do we do?" I would have gotten loads and loads of live reactions, and then gotten loads of talking heads after the fact of those spectators saying, "What did you experience?" And ask them questions. Did you feel like you give anything away? Did you basically all the things you'd want to know what your audience was thinking after the fact? I'd put that in a trailer, and then I'd say, "Look, I cannot show you a performance," as he says in his ad copy, because as a magician, you could probably backtrack it. However, what's important? The method or this? And then you show the reactions, show what they really believe they felt and saw and experienced. And then for me, as a viewer or potential purchaser, I would have a little thumbs up on screen. I would then be able to say, right, yeah, like he says, method is kind of regardless. It's Propolis. That's what's important, because that's what I say this from magic reviews all the time. Unless they've included live performances in some way, shape, or form in the review, they're just unboxings. Because 90% of what's important about a magic product is the end result.
Yeah.
So it's the same as if you're going to buy one, right? The method could have ropey parts. It might not be polished, or it might be something that you personally like. Oh, that's so obvious to me with my lizard magician brain. But the people's opinion is the only thing that really matters. And if that's undeniable, and they believe they experienced real Propolis mentalism, then it's potentially worth $1,000.
Yeah. It's you're not selling a mattress, you're selling a good night's sleep, right? It's that sort of mentality when it comes to this stuff. What is that?
The other thing that makes me think that Shay might it might be worth $1,000 is because of this thing that he showed me at Blackpool and gave to me at Blackpool.
What is it?
This is a stage mentalist or parliamentalist's dream. This is fucking amazing. So
Or you tease it. What the fuck?
I'm going to tell you what it is right now. This is expensive, right? This is in that same ballpark area, but this is, well, I'll just tell you what happens with the performance, right? And this kind of makes complete logical sense. Super dope. You write anything down on a billet piece of paper for whatever reasons mentalists have been using for centuries to write something down, right? Maybe to show a friend or to visualize it or something, whatever. Then they fold it up, they shred it. With the shredded pieces, they can go ahead and burn them or discard them, whatever. And now, at your discretion, you know the information.
Wow,
that's fun.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. So anybody, this is worth. I think maybe I can make a more informed decision on this. Because I own it now, and I've seen exactly how it works, and I can think of a million different perfect scenarios for this as a performer. I think this is like $1,400. This I can say with authority is worth $1,400.
So is it scanning it and sending it over to you as it shreds it?
No, it's a much more of an analog, surefire method. But it's
that's sick.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ask him if I can. I filmed him at Blackpool showing me the mechanism, how it works. I don't know if if I was Shay, I would be showing everyone exactly how this works because it's more of a selling point than just what it is. But it's up to him with his marketing. But really, write something down. They can shred it themselves, and then you don't learn the information there and then. That's the only thing. However, you can learn it within 2 moments after. But the thing is, fucking 1000%, they believe that information has not been seen and has been destroyed. 100 fucking percent. 100.
Can you do it multiple? Can you do it multiple times? Or is that?
I'm not sure.
Okay, because that'd be the sick one. That's sick. They come up after doing like a Q&A bit. They're holding their billet. They shred it or whatever problems they have, or whatever you want to ascribe to it, and then you're able to tell them what their fears are, or what that to me would be a fun.
Well, dude, also as well, think about it. If you just borrowed a bill from the audience, and then they remember the serial number on their bill, you can then shred that bill openly. They can burn the pieces. They can fucking shred it. And now, at any point, you can make that bill reappear in any location, and it's exactly their fucking bill from the fucking wallet.
Wow,
$400 more, by the way. $400 more than the Rolex system.
Let me show you the thing. Make sure.
That's interesting.
This is it. So it's a handheld shredder, right? Fairly common place in offices.
Oh yeah, Sarah's got one of those.
Yeah, Katie's got one. She's got 2, I think. A smaller one as well. It also doubles up to shred your cock. But yeah,
I was gonna say, I'd stick my dinky in that if I was to get it and see if it comes out the other way. Like
it looks so inviting. But yeah, but this is a fun prop as well on stage. It's fucking dope. But you could literally borrow a dollar bill. They could even sign that fucking dollar bill. It can be shredded, and then you can reappear it anywhere. It's amazing for billet work, anything really.
It's funny though, right? You see that, and that involves a prop that's heavy, but then at the same time, what to me it would be, and it's the same argument against prop lists that I fucking detest, which is prop lists for the sake of prop lists, that you find a method and you put it out to market because you're doing magic porn. You want to sell them this idea that anytime, anywhere, they could, reveal information about participants. And in the mind of a magician, you're thinking, okay, great. Again, me from the story I gave last week with the levitation. I'm going to levitate down the hallways. I'm going to get pussy like no other man because I'm floating, right? In the same way, it's here because you're selling them a good night's sleep. You're not selling them a mattress. You're selling them a good night's sleep. and saying that they're going to be able to do this method for the rest of their life. Whereas something analog like that is just, to me, more memorable. It's something that stands out. It's something that's more practical, and it's something that's more effective.
That's because you're a virgin.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's true, right? Because we see the shiny, we hear the mechanisms and the cool stuff it can do, and we think, I want to pay money for it. If Shay has gone up with his Rolex system and has smashed it in a theater and revealed people's fucking pin numbers and Q&As and all this stuff to a 1,000-seater audience, right? He's gone, yeah, if people want to do that shit too, it's $1,000 and you can fucking thank me for the privilege. I don't give a fuck.
But it's also a little bit of deception, right? That is the question at hand here, which is, he's saying you don't peek. You don't have to see anything, that there's no sort of verbal confirmation, right? And just sort of speculating on method, there is some compromise. You have to see something. There's something. So can they really put in the marketing that, oh, you don't have to see? As a matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up here on, I believe, Illusionary. And I love Mustafa to death, by the way, who runs Illusionary. He's fucking hysterical. We were hammered one time in Vegas gambling from like 8 at night to like 6 in the morning. It was fucking probably the best time of my life. But I hear he goes, no fishing. Fishing is in quotes. No information ever given. No apps, no cues. Real-time mind reading. I don't know if I read no peeking here at some point, but I do see an audience of hundreds choosing from 8 categories: objects, places, topics, names. So I assume that they could pick from all these categories and think from. No information ever given. I think these are all semantic sort of wordplays.
Well, it's like, yeah. Who are you explaining the effect perceived, or are you explaining the actual facts? Because from an audience's point of view, they could potentially think like they don't get, like, you look at each star sign anagram, right? That they don't feel like they're giving you any information at all, because you start telling them exactly what letters are in it, and the moment there's a slight bit of friction, it's a nothing burger, you know?
Yeah.
They never
Okay, well,
feel
let's
like
try a
they're
different method. Let's try a different method. That's what it is. That's the sort of narrative is, okay, I'm going to try to pick up on your star sign, but I don't see things visually. I see things in terms of letters. So just think of the letters for me. Great. Oh, wait, that letter isn't in it? Okay, let's try something else. Think of it as this or whatever.
Imagine it
So
what it
it's-
is. Yeah, just okay. Try and get on the same way, but go for
Yeah.
your picture now. Okay, now I can see it. Yeah, okay, there we go. Oh, let me write it down. Yeah, it never feels
Yeah.
like, yeah. So you could. So if a spectator was to write the ad copy for Pete's star sign anagram, they'd say, "I thought of my star sign," and he instantly started telling me details about it, and then he had me picture it as well, and he was exactly right.
And nailed it. Whereas here, it's just too shady. It's too shady for it, and it's just something that's a deterrent. But again, you saw it just based on what you saw, and what you're telling us. That's really the only opinion we could base it on. But I think the big problem here is also the price of stuff. That's what the main contention is, because Unnamed Magician was selling his stuff for $100, right, for one card trick. Hector was selling the thing for 400, but it is a one-on-one. This is $1,000. So it wouldn't have this much sort of vitriol from the Magic community if it was $100. This system, right? If it was $200, I don't think it'd have the same sort of response.
If it was $20.
Yeah, if it was 20. But then again, you're also trying to price this at a point where you're sort of catering to people that are gonna find this sort of stuff valuable. Because if you have $1,000 to drop on this sort of stuff, it's because this is a workable idea that you think is going to work in your programs, that you're going to multiply what you paid for it exponentially in what it's bringing to you. So that's kind of the other side of the argument. But I mean, I haven't seen what Andy said about the jerks, or Andy said about this in particular. I'm sure he has some fucking wonderfully well-witted, take on it.
What he says, it's telling that within hours of this being uploaded on Vanishing's site, one of the written endorsements was removed, and then the video was edited to remove another seeming endorsement. I've never heard such a thing in Magic before. And now it looks like the product's being removed completely from Vanishing Ink, although you can still read about it here. And then he goes on to just say, he says, here's how the effect was described to me by someone who witnessed it. This is interesting. Then he had me think of my star sign. He closed his eyes and said, if there is an S hold your right hand out in front of you. If there's not an S, hold your left hand out in front of you. Yeah, this is what I remember was like the whole hand thing. If there's an A in your star sign, turn your palm down. If not, leave it how it is. If there's an O in your star sign, leave your hand the direction it's facing and close your hand in a fist. If there's not an O, do nothing. This is done when the performer is seemingly not looking. He then reveals the star sign. Now, I'd like to assume this is the stupid version he came up with on the way to the good version, but this is what he was showing someone who hoped would buy it or endorse it, which makes me think this is pretty much the primary idea behind the whole thing. So, and then he goes into breakdown like the things from the ad copy, a once in a generational idea, blah blah blah. So, and then
which for the most part are the points that we've been sort of messaging with you.
This is the difference between the other things that I talk about, which is I never felt like I was giving away information. Between this one where it felt what I remember doing, it felt, and that's what I remember. That was it felt like I was doing kind of like the Macarena.
Yeah, okay, that's fun.
But depending on what information was in my head, and it was like, okay, like I didn't want him to see it, and then I was like, "Are you looking at me?" Because he wasn't like fully turned around. It was really kind of hard to follow, and it was like, "Why am I thinking of a fucking ice rink?" It was just like all over the shop. Yeah, it was just
propolis for the sake of propolis. That's the problem here. That it would be again in this particular example, you have to ask yourself, right? Is it comparable to just writing it on a billet and peeking at it? So for Pete's method, the classic anagram bit, because Peter just updated it, made it practical, made it something that doesn't involve like I remember watching Richard Oslerland perform like a star sign reveal to like 6 people, and he has a notepad and he's taking notes as he's doing it, so that's I would say the worst way to do it. Is Peter's method to his star sign better and more practical than just having somebody write it down, take a peek at it, and then proceed? I think so, just because of the efficacy of getting the information, right? So you're able to get somebody's star sign, I think, in a more efficient way than writing it down, especially because it's 1 of 12, right?
And I think you can. I think what's nice about Pete's is at the end you can say, like, "Look, you've never written this down, said anything out loud. Like before I tell you what I think it might be, you can literally then highlight that you haven't done that stuff."
The method is not that much of a compromise to avoid the billet used or the prop used, right? In that particular method. For Christian Grace's method, again, we're just comparing, similar things that are out there. I would go on the route of writing just because I'm a lazy piece of shit, right? I would go on the route of writing it. But it is practical and it is something that you would perform if you take the time to learn it, right? Especially to the level that Christian Grace has performed it. And especially because of the wide array of possibilities that you have when thinking of it. When it comes to the Rolex system, so right off the bat, it's almost part of the trick that you're limiting them to a certain amount of words or whatever the fuck they're thinking of. They do mention an audience of hundreds choosing from 8 categories. So that's funny that they emphasize hundreds, choosing from 8 categories: objects, places, topics, names, right? That's what they say in the Rolex system. But the process that you seem to be talking about, and even Andy and the Jerks, is that better than just using a billet in this case? And I don't think that's the case for this particular way, because it seems like the process is just a clever thing that he discovered is possible when having people think of certain objects that you could look at maybe a fist and know, okay, so that means that there isn't an R, there isn't an O, so this has to be the shopping mall or whatever. They're a terrible example because there is an O shopping mall, but that's what he discovered. And to me, that process to a participant isn't better than having them write it down and just peeking at it. That's what I think this comes to.
Here's what I think. Yeah, and I agree. I feel that yesterday I called Jake Keane, right, about an idea I had for a thought of card effect. And I was telling him the way that I created the method was that I forgot about method, and I was sitting down thinking, how would this conversation play out? How would a conversation play out in different scenarios, and what would feel normal and what's the word? What would feel motivated to do in this scenario, right? I'd watched an effect for a thought of card, right, as a sub thing, where like kind of like Joshua J's, is the thing where he's blindfolded and all the deck's blank, and it says, one of the ways for revealing the Thorf card or obtaining the information of the value was take the deck and deal down through the cards to the value of your card, and then drop the deck on top, and then do the same for the suits. And there's no motivation. Oh, you can make motivation, but it really is essentially wildly unmotivated. Yeah, and it's kind of transparent even to the most trained or untrained eye. So I was talking to Jake. I said I don't like those ways of attaining that information. And I started to jam on effect first, and the way it would anything that would feel just normal, motivated, not suspicious. And then the method came from that, right? It was born from the front end, not the back end, which sounds like the way I was born, or not. And I think
Yeah,
with
they shit you out in Wales, right? They shit you guys out, I think.
with
Okay.
Keats and Christians, I feel like the method came from the same places, where they thought, how should this look, and now how do I get this? So where's my destination? Forget the map, the route on the map. Just where am I going to throw the dart? Okay, now I have to get there. And it feels like the Rolex system came from looking at their roots, looking at their methods, and trying to find his own way of getting shortcuts or different directions to it. He looked at their methods and thought, right, how can I do that, but silently? Or how can I use this method, but without looking? Instead of going, actually, what do I want the audience to feel and perceive? And then how do I get there? So it feels like the reason why the other two potentially to me feel like better performance pieces, in my limited experience, is because they put effect and audience first, and they created the method to get there. And it feels like with this one, he created the method to potentially solve problems that he found with the other methods, forgetting the audience experience. And again, with limited experience, if he's listening to this, still clever, still valuable, and it may be better for his audiences and other people and other purchase audiences than the other two effects. I can only speak from a limited experience.
Well, again, we come back to the fact that magic and any purchase is subjective. One man's trash is another man's treasure. There's going to be somebody out there that's learned Pete Turner's star sign divination or learned Christian Grace's Enigma, and they absolutely fucking hate it. But this is something that would work brilliantly for them. You just never know. I've learned that as being a product reviewer for so many years. I can look at something and go, this is truly terrible. And I know that there's going to be somebody out there that this is going to be their number one set main item that they perform for the rest of their life.
Off the top of your frenulum, Craig, off the top of your very shiny frenulum, what is, without a shadow of a doubt, the worst thing you've ever reviewed? Like, not recent, like just in your head, the first thing that comes up that's just like, wow, this was AIDS.
I'll give you 3 examples. I'll give you 3, and they're all older, but I'll give you 3.
Okay.
I'll give you okay. So the first one is something called iFloat. That was one of the very first things that I reviewed on the Wizard Pro Review with David Penn. And it was an impromptu floating phone. You borrowed a phone and it floated. And the method was you put your finger under it and you pushed your finger up like that. And that was literally the method. So the finger, and me and Dave did a parody trailer for it where we went up to a spectator in the street and I did iFloat and he did this to me. And I went back to Dave Penn and went, Dave, I don't know how, but they guessed the method. So that was pretty shit. The second thing I would say is something that when I first started the review show back again, when I came back to the community and I did it with Ryland, this is kind of what put the review show on the map. It was me reviewing something called NPAD. And if you haven't seen that review, it's when I take the pad, and Ryland's at the time's only like 8. And he's there, very cute, 8 years old, and I just take this pad and I just smash the shit out of it. And he's just there going, oh my God, what the hell is going on? And I throw it in the other side of the room. That was just terrible because it was meant to make something jump from there to there. And it was this whole... And it was just not fit for purpose, and it was like $500. If you're performing to somebody who is completely deaf, that would be great. But that would probably be the only one. And then third is the majority, and this is where me and Lloyd will get into another half an hour discussion. He'll take the dog and throw it against the wall, and then the little vein will pop out of his head underneath his cap. Almost fucking anything by Kevin Parker.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, that's so fun. Dude, I miss those in Penguin Magic. Or just watching like well, weirdly enough, Penguin Magic. So back in the day, you just watched, I used to fucking just devour those because I didn't have the money to buy tricks when I was younger. So I just watched demos and sort of like jerk off and come up with my own ways of doing them. And a lot of those tricks that were out were like Kevin Parker's linking ring to borrowed ring to like keychain, right? And I would see that and think,
I
wow,
bought that. That was one of the only ever downloads back when I was a kid that I bought. I bought that with money. We had to use my friend's grandmother's credit card, and we both went half on it. It was £12, and I fucking loved it. And I performed it.
yeah, I remember that one being good. But there's others like coin and bottle that he did that were like cracked
and that's
out.
his best ever trick, passing through. That's the best thing he's ever created.
But I don't know if you've seen the Penguin Magic website. This is a completely different topic. I'm sure you could probably dive into this for hours. But if you look on the downloads section on Penguin Magic, anybody could put up anything. Like you could put up right now the moving dog ear trick, and there's no sort of overhead. They don't look at it. They just people sell the shit, and I assume nobody's buying any of the tricks. But if you look at like the online section, you can just post whatever you want.
Well,
It's
it's
shit.
the Penguin Partner Program. And basically, and two things about the Penguin website. One, they never fucking delete anything. So if you want to see a discontinued product, it never goes off their database. You will find shit there from fucking years ago. It will never fucking leave. So you'll find downloads there from like 30 years, because Penguin's been around for so long. But secondly, they've got this thing called the Penguin Partner Program. And you apply to be on the Penguin Partner Program. And when you do, you can get access immediately to be able to put something. And when you upload it, you put a trailer with it, you put an ad copy with it, you put some photos with it, you set a price on it, and boom, it'll go straight up and it'll be on the new arrivals, and they'll create a little avatar for you if stuff is successful. Like it's crazy, really. But they'll never so for example, like I've just put Lloyd Barnes into Penguin, and obviously the most popular Lloyd Barnes products are Savant Deck, Lux, Dex, Infinity Deck, Cognito, stuff like that. But then when you go down, you look at stuff that came out years ago, like Sand Switch, Wallet Weapon, the Scarlet Utility, fucking Odyssey 2 DVD, limited Moonshine vintage Elixir playing cards, just stuff like that. They never fucking take anything off. They never take anything out, and it's always in fucking stock because any download that's come out from years ago.
Yeah.
So if I want to, I can buy the Scarlet Utility by Lloyd Barnes. It's got a deceptive move.
I still make fucking royalties on that trick. Every month I get money for that. Or they adds up, and at the end of the day, they send me a load of money for that trick.
That's so fucked. But what I said right now in the chat, by the way, is just an example. It's like just some random, like if somebody recorded it like this,
on their phone.
like a trick. Yeah, like, oh, here's a Matrix trick with like the same audio. That's the sort of stuff that I'm talking about. There's just like these random fucking weird instructionals that are end-to-end teleport.
Ask you, Pigcake, what's the worst product you've ever seen?
I've ever seen. Boy, that's rough because it's like what I've bought. Maybe I remember I bought, and I love Andrew Main to death, but he had like a pocket sawing in half thing that I bought. I remember buying that, and it was fucking terrible. Just things like that. But that I've seen, and nothing comes to mind, dude. I'm not dick deep into what's out or what people are putting out or what's in the market to the point where I have no idea like what could be bad. But just things that I guess things like what I linked, like these little fucking weird downloads. I imagine these are absolutely fucking atrocious. Have you ever seen Escape?
Escape or Escape?
Nah, dude. I almost wanted to do a whole documentary on this fucking trick.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah. Escape magic trick. I hope it's still
you can say axe in the dictionary. So
okay, true, but escape magic trick. I seen this recently.
Can I get an espresso?
Can I get an
Oh my
espresso,
god.
please?
Yeah. This
Let
is
me
gonna
ask you
drive
a
me.
question while we escape.
You're bordering on racist here, dude. You gotta
No, it's not.
fucking
Just general fucking Americanism. Actually, it's just general people.
Atlantaism. That you're speaking in the vernacular of someone from Atlanta, Georgia, where they're asking you questions. But what I'm trying to find is a demo video called Escape or something like that, and it is just Kevin Parker level shit, right? It is just
Is it
the
a soap?
funniest. It's bro. I wish I could find it. It's a guy that's like not well, you know. The tagline is, if you could escape from prison, would you escape? And it's a card trick, right? It was like back in the old days of when it was rare, like to see the. Now it's not rare again. I'm looking on Penguin Magic at all these fucking shit downloads, but man, I want to find this escape magic trick card trick. Fuck, I know it's on YouTube somewhere. Oh no, it's not that. Bro, this needs to be a. I wanted to do a documentary going to this guy's house and asking him, what were you thinking, dude? Magic trick card. But I can't fucking find it, bro. This is so disappointing. Let me sort by views, and I'm sure I'll find it because it has like 4 views on it.
Well, while you're looking for it, what about you,
Mhm.
Lloyd? What's the worst trick you've ever seen?
Oh, I got angry about one, but
What's that?
I don't want to fucking name it because I really like the creator and I think he's actually really good.
Oh, name it. Come on.
Mainly because probably more because of how it was marketed by the company in the build-up. And this is coming from someone who hates his own material. So, but it was because the marketing in the build-up was crazy. And then what was released was not the same as the marketing.
Okay. No, color me intrigued. What you got?
I feel so bad, and it, in fairness, in the ad copy, reading it and the trailer, they do show the ending, but at the time, it was described like it was gonna be one thing,
Mhm.
and it ended up being a bit different. But it's that, and probably I was just a little whiny kid too, so it's probably more of my own issues than anything else. But it was Reform by Blake Voigt, not Regen, but Reform. You get
Okay, I don't think I remember Reformed.
watch watch the trailer, but in the build up to it, I'll send you the link. In the build up to it, it was this is going to be a Total Sword card. It was like, this is the best one ever created. It's a signed card, no gimmicks, nothing taken away, no sneaky stuff, 100% impromptu. Like god tier description of the effect at hand, right? Completely impromptu, one card, signed, no switches, like the perfect, and this is what was being said in the build up all the way to release, and literally went on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they were given teasers for it and everything. I was fucking, as a Tornado Sword absolute fanatic, I was at the vinegar stroke for 3 weeks straight. I was just right about to nut. And all of that is true, except for one major detail, in that it's not a torn and restore card.
No?
It's a torn and well, watch the trailer if you can.
At the moment, I can't at the moment because I'm doing this on my phone today because I've got problems with my laptop.
The card is, so this is what happens exactly. The card, I give you one card, Craig, Pigcakes, and give you both a card, right?
And
And sign it. I then tear it into 4 pieces. I then place one piece back together, the second piece back together, and the last piece, the third piece, back together. And then I tear the card up and you can keep the pieces.
Oh, right. Okay.
yeah, I remember
So-
that.
Yeah, it's a torn and restored and torn card. But it's not a torn and restored. They cannot keep it. They cannot examine it at any point during the effect. And they can't, and it doesn't end restored. It's a torn card.
Yeah, it's not good.
And the marketing for it made it look and sound like holy grail status. And I was fucking on
I was, oh my God, I was so ready for it. And because the idea of handing someone one card that's been torn up and put back together and fuck me. But it's not a TNR. So they advertised it wrong. It's a torn, restored, and retorn card that cannot be examined at any point during the effect.
But that was a novelty. That was a novelty of being able to have one card and not. I think that's what the selling point was. It's not necessarily a practical thing. He's performed it. I've seen it on Instagram recently, and it looks good.
It looks good. It looks good, and but it was again. So I say it was more the marketing than if they come out and said this is a fun. Fuck me, dog. This is a he's barking at my gardener, and this is a fun, situational torn or sword card. Yes, it can be signed. Yes, there's no switches or gimmicks. However, it's important to note that this is not the Holy Grail. You're not going to nothing can be examined apart from the pawn pieces at the end. You know what I mean? But like they were so hyperbolic, and I've done this myself, so I can say, look, it's my own issue. Shut up, Charlie Yude. But yeah, it was really, really misleading. Really misleading.
Yeah, it's not
What I was going to tell you is I linked. It turns out the only place I could find a demo video was my own video from back in the day when I wore a balaclava. So when I looked like one of the hijackers. But I linked the time code on that of where you could see this demo video. That has to be, dude. I don't know what the fucking trick is. I know that there's a minivan.
Can you share the screen, Lloyd? Because you're host for this one, not me. Because
I'm your host with the most. Yeah, I'll do it now.
It's on. If you look at the time code, it's 4:21. So minute 4, 21 seconds.
Okay, do I do odd share sound? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's 2 check boxes to the right hand side. Make sure they're both checked.
Make sure all your CBT pornography all those tabs are closed. That was my mistake last time. Every time I share my screen, it's just noises of African American men getting destroyed. Okay, there you go. Yeah,
I'm sitting for him.
What do you make is?
You could already see, dude. You could already see. This is a magic trick demo video, by the way.
That can't be real.
Are you playing it?
Did you see it?
No, for me, I got a.
Yeah, all I'm seeing is a frozen screen, Lloyd.
Yeah. Dude.
WT fuck. Okay. How about that? Can you see
So
that?
go to, yeah, I
is
just
insane.
moved. Go to so 4:21. Look at me, dude.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Did it play now?
Yeah, hit play. There you go.
Escape.
Escape. Oh my god. Cubis. This is a big shot.
You're under arrest. Get down.
I'll escape. 3, 2.
Yo, what? That has to be a parody.
I'm daring. We need to talk about this. Bearing in mind, a lot of people, Lloyd, listen to this on a podcast and don't watch it on YouTube. Do you want to describe what the fuck you've just seen?
It's essentially the type of product trailer that you would make if nobody helped you.
So the point of that video.
Fucking good at marketing, right?
Basically, it was a guy who, and I don't want to mention it, but he was
Very disabled.
Pigcakes, you do a better example. You'll do because Because you'd be
No, it's not that Pigcake will do a better job. It's just that you know that whoever describes that shit show is going to get cancelled. I can't say a fucking word. I'm already going to get sued. So one of you guys needs to nut up and step up to the plate.
Yeah, this guy sat in his garden, like you could see he was like just looking around,
Yeah.
not really interested in
Fupa.
anything, heavy breathing, doing like not basically just holding a deck as if he was doing sleight of hand, but was fumbling. And then it was like fucking looking around, like he wasn't even. I don't even know if that guy was sure he was in a trailer.
No, that was
Like, he just
so that
rolled
was
out
a
of bed and
trick.
put on his sleeping pajama clothes.
You know what? Let's give your hypothesis, Craig, a test here. I'm gonna look up Escape David Cooper and see if it comes out on Penguin Magic. If it's still
I know
out.
what was the whole escape
Oh,
thing.
no.
There was no. The storyline was he was what had he done? And what was the trick?
do you
What was
know-
the trick?
Yeah,
The trick.
What the fuck's the trick?
There's no
He did
trick. It's
One
there's a maze
half
and
color change, which is like this
Yeah.
thing.
he did this. Maybe that's the trick. It does this thing. It does that at some point, and this thing. It does this thing.
Dude, honestly, but I
It was
was
a-
to like talk shit on it because I feel
Yeah, it's
like this. I feel like that's like not just like. I feel like whoever that trailer made that trailer or partook in that trailer, I don't think they were of sound mind potentially and might be unwell. So I don't think it's okay to like.
I think that was a cry for help.
No, like genuinely, I think whoever like is the. I don't feel
Dude,
like
I
those people
saw that.
are-
Years ago. I saw that years ago, and I wanted to get to the point where I actually found them and do a documentary. And I remember Cody Nottingham had a little bit more insight as to who they were and what their story was. And I wanted to like, what is this? And tell me what's the trick. And I wanted to do a whole documentary on it that nobody would be interested on it because it's such a niche thing. Because I remember seeing this video years and years ago on Penguin, seeing the demo and wondering what the fuck happened, what's going on, what I don't understand what the trick is. How did you get to this point? That's what I wanted to find out. But it was just on the overall video was on these crazy demo videos where it's all these cinematic hits and all these transitions, and it's a triumph card trick, or it's a fucking transposition, but there's explosions. And it's like Big Blind Media used to do that all the time where it's fucking, oh, here's John Bannon, who's like this old lawyer, retired, looks like a fucking dude. And yet the trailer makes him look like he's fucking like a rock star. And it's for a fucking 3-packet card trick. Why, dude? Fucking kill. But this one, I just remember seeing it and I lost my shit because it's this dude, he's sitting in a field. He's not well, right? There's a fupa. He's holding cards and he's doing slights badly. Like, they're getting him from different angles. He's trying to, at some point, it's through the bushes. There's a stalker angle and it's just weird. And at the end, a truck comes in or a minivan with a child that says, hey, the police, you're under arrest for, I don't know, doing card tricks in a field. And then he's like, I'll make my escape, which is the name of the trick. And he.
Yeah, what's that about? And I don't get it. Like, at what point do they allude to there being a reason to escape or a need to escape?
I'm trying to find the original trick and I can't find it anywhere. Escape, David Cooper, magic trick. I can't see it anywhere. And I remember there being a description to it. So it's lost media now. If anybody has more virgin abilities to look through the internet archive or whatever to find that. But I wish I could find the description of the trick. But I mean, from the video, you could tell that the whole effect is that he's going to make his escape. He's going to escape in a minivan slowly.
I like when he gets on the minivan. He's like, "Get down! You're under arrest!" And it just pans to another shot of him sat there looking bewildered.
With the cards, did you notice he has the cards? So it's like, you caught me, dude. Fucking, I like the So that, I think, bar none, has to be the worst demo video. I think I've seen that. If you're gonna like quantify like a bad magic trick, okay, whatever. But a bad demo video, that has to be the worst fucking thing I've ever seen. I don't know.
It might be if I can find it, I'll play it. I can't find it.
What a tease! What an absolute tease you are, Lloyd.
Can I,
That was
kind of what I mean. That's terrible, but can I kind of? It's something to do with the products and companies that aren't very good. Um, that I want to kind of transition into a little bit. And I'd like to get your thoughts, Big Cake, because this is kind of interesting, and I'll explain what's interesting about it in a bit. A couple of weeks ago, me and Lloyd had a conversation about Illusionist. I don't know if you heard us talking about that. We were talking about how Illusionist just brought out Air Vanish, and they sent a marketing email out to everyone going, "Hey, haters, fuck off. We're not dead. We haven't gone anywhere. We've just been busy." Because apparently it's not important to market your company anymore. You just pop up every time you've got a trick to come out, right? And me and Lloyd talked about, are Illusionists dying? Is this company going away or is it not? Because they don't seem to bring very much stuff out these days. They actually had to send a marketing email out saying, "Hey, we're still around," which is kind of weird because for years Illusionists were huge. They were massive. Two things have happened since then. One massive thing has happened, and I don't think Lloyd's aware of what's happened. But a couple of years ago, Illusionist listed everything with Murphys, and then they made a big deal of not listing, pulling all of their range out of Murphys. Right? You were with Murphys at the time, weren't you, Lloyd? They
I think it was, no, I think, potentially they've done it 2 or 3 times, and they put all their stuff back there.
Yeah,
and
but they
then,
made a big deal of saying we're not going with Murphys anymore. You can only get your stuff from us, and blah blah blah. And now the only place you can really get Illusionist stuff is through Illusionist and selected wholesalers. But overnight, Air Vanish has popped up on Penguin and many other places. So their new trick, that is the first trick that brought out in a long while, is now available through Penguin, which have always been a pretty big competitor to Illusionist. And now you can get it through Penguin, which makes me kind of think, are they really is it even worse than before? Because now, the only reason, if you've got Illusionist in the old days would never have put their stuff through any other magic company because that's their big asset. Everybody goes to Illusionist. Illusionist is the place to go. If you put it through Penguin, which is the world's largest magic shop, there's no reason for people to go to Illusionist in the first place. Now you can get their latest trick through them.
it's on Murphy's as well.
Yeah, so it's on Murphy's. So they put it through everybody. And the only, unless I'm wrong, and I'm not as involved in this part of the industry as you are, Lloyd, unless I'm wrong, the only reason that you would put something out through Murphy's after a year ago, making a big deal of we're not going to put stuff through Murphy's anymore, is because it's a cash grab. You want to get cash. Maybe you haven't sold as enough stock as you thought, or whatever the case may be. But if you had thousands of customers and it's sold out in 24 hours, I can't see why you would put it through a wholesaler. So my question is, does that change anything we discussed 2 weeks ago? And also, Pigcake, as somebody who has more recently than Lloyd, worked with Illusionist, you do a bit of work for them a couple of years ago. What's your take on this whole situation?
Oh, I don't know if Lloyd wants to throw his semen in the bucket first.
People are bored of me talking about shit all the time. So if you go ahead, I just don't stop chatting.
Well, I mean, I think they have their priorities sort of skewed in other places rather than magic. I know that they've started a marketing company recently, and if you look at the team in the marketing company, it's the same exact team from Illusionist. It's the same webpage essentially. So I think they're focusing on different things rather than magic. And again, they're focusing on what we were talking earlier, that it's whatever is bringing in money. And if marketing or starting a marketing agency is bringing in more money, I think they're going to focus more on that than investing, for example, in a product, having to deal with all the that shit, and I'm just learning about that part through doing the psychic survival kit on manufacturing stuff and seeing how, labor intensive and time consuming it is to produce even something as simple as a fucking notepad. So I think they're maybe steering away in the next couple years, just away from magic and more into becoming like almost an agency for
a little bit like Theory 11 did, where they went away from magic and they focused more on playing cards and that sort of thing.
So that's, again, just completely anecdotal. Just knowing the people in charge and what their focuses are, and I think that it's whatever is making the most money. And when it comes to magic, there's a fair bit of investment that goes into that, and just buying shit and having to, hope that it sells enough to recoup your what you put into it. So I feel like they might be steering away to something that's just a for-profit business, just in marketing, where you're only offering essentially payment for time, which is what it ends up being. Um, so I mean, when I worked with them, granted, it was just a fucking cum shot in the air how long I was with them. It was only maybe a
I
month
actually
or
loved the
2 months.
videos that you did for them. I thought it was good because they don't really do much with their social media anymore,
Yeah,
despite being a marketing company. But I love the stuff
you
that
were
you did.
you were the only one. Thank you, man. But you were the only one that I'm finally liked there. Everybody thought that they were fucking AIDS, just because stupidity. And I remember it's funny because there was whoever is at Pigcake on Instagram probably got so many comments and messages just from people that were angry because I had a shirt on in a video for Illusionist that said "short but my dick tall," and I remember people saying, "Oh, I had a shirt on, so I did a short video that they posted, and I had a shirt on that said "short but my dick tall." Right? It says just short, then my dick
I
tall.
think I think you got hate because of the racism as well.
I got hate because of the racism too. I made a lot of black jokes. But no, just people were extrapolating a bunch of stuff. I remember I made a video that was the vanishing phone, right? And in the context of the video, I mentioned, oh, now you could gaslight your partner into believing that you never had a phone to begin with. That was sort of the line at the end. And then the messages that they got from that were like, "Oh, I was in an abusive relationship, and this is offensive because what you mentioned gaslighting." I'm like, you're extrapolating something from nothing. So it was just a bunch of angry, I guess, keyboard warriors in that sense. So they're like, "This is not working out for us. So we're not gonna have you make videos anymore for us." In that sense, they still hired me in the back end to do like one-offs for them since then. But I think just seeing that they're not putting out as much as they used to. I know that they've sort of still linger in conventions and see what it is that they could get, and see if maybe they could find like underground stuff and put that out there. But I just think that they're steering away from the model of investing in magic and having to, fucking sell a product, and rather just sell services, because services is just time, whereas a product you have to fucking invest a lot into. So I think they're steering away from that, and that might be the next move for them in the next 5 years. But it's a shame because granted, Lloyd, you've had your history with Illusionist, and it's very sort of a point of contention. But I've had nothing but positive experiences with them uh, before I even did videos for them. Just fucking the meme of it with Brad and all the fucking ninja stuff. Like, I loved that shit growing up. Um, the first thing Brad ever told me when I met him was, "Oh, cool, I got to take a shit." Those are the first words that came out of Brad's mouth upon meeting me. "Oh, cool, Pigcake, I gotta go take a shit." So imagine years of watching this guy on fucking video and learning from him, and his first thought is, "I gotta go fucking execute my bowels, or remove my bowels." Um, but I think that's where they're heading. Unfortunately, I enjoy whenever they come out with a product because usually it's a little bit different than what's out there standard. But it's also interesting to see because I remember on Penguin Magic, their forums, you couldn't even put illusionist without getting banned or without getting like illusionist. The word was not allowed to be written on their forums without having a moderator fucking come in and say, "Oh, you can't talk about them because that's like competition." And it's weird to see them putting out stuff on other companies. It seemed like that would never be something that they would have done. But I know with that's not new though. They've done that with other stuff before in the past. That it's been released, by Illusionist, but on Penguin
It's just for me, it's just a sign of the times for them.
Mhm.
Like as in, because there was posts put out by them saying the magic industry is dead, the playing card industry is dead, and they didn't want to put stuff in Murphy. They didn't need them, and it was just like sucking the soul out of magic. And all three of those things, or at least the first two, was true for Illusionist. Unfortunately, they didn't realize that everyone else was thriving. So when they were saying, "Oh, this is terrible," like sales from playing cards terrible, the magic industry is terrible. They truly, I think they really believed that it was happening to all of the companies. I really believe that they thought that every company was suffering the same losses they were, and that's why they were happy to publicly sort of expose the miscomings, whereas unfortunately the industry has actually been like riding on, like, for most companies, record profits and highs, which is phenomenal, which is makes there's so many more magicians. And I keep saying, I'm fortunate, I'm blessed that I can see the back end of a lot of things. I know a lot of people, whereas they keep to themselves, so they were speaking from a lack of information. And that's why their own goals weren't aware of them as they were saying them out loud. But Magic's in a golden era from an industry perspective,
Yeah, it is.
just not for them. And then I think when they were saying, they only have a wholesale, the motto was like, you only wholesale when you need to. No, I even as an independent artist, like with the Vanishing Elephant, been out for nearly 5 months, no need to wholesale it at all, at all. And in fact, you guys know that the amount of offers that are on the table for it. Yeah, there's 2 reasons why you wholesale. One, the product's run its life for you and you've reached your target audience, or 2, you're desperate for cash. You're fucking desperate. And when you put the things up in order that are publicly facing, where they've admitted that they believe the magic industry is dying, they believe the playing card industry is dead, without knowing that it's not for everyone else. The fact that they, publicly shat on Murphy's and the concept of wholesaling, but then silently have gone straight back in there. And then you should look at the emails that they're sending out saying, you guys are fools for thinking we're dead, kind of attitude.
Mhm.
I'm not like Sherlock Holmes, and I don't know what's going on in their camp. But my opinion from last week, and it's still the same, is that when a company fundamentally, like deep to its core, doesn't understand their audience and doesn't understand the art form like it used to, it will very quickly run away from you.
Yeah.
And that's just what's happening. From my point of view, from my opinion, my lack of knowledge, my experience potentially though, this is the company that very, very badly lost its sight of what community wants, who the community are, and what is actually happening behind the scenes for other parties.
Yeah.
And you kind of put all that together, and it's time to build your life raft and start looking at other businesses and other. It is right.
Yeah, you're right. But I think where we differ is that I'm a little bit more. You have experiences with them that are way different than I do, and I think you're very justified in what you think about them. But I only wish the best for someone like Illusionist, just because we need
Oh,
more.
I'm not saying I want them to play it, because I think back in the day they were the most exciting thing for years. The most.
Yeah, of course.
Anytime Illusionist started, everyone would be like, "What the fuck's going on? This is dope." If they could capture that magic again,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Here's
What
my
I'm saying is,
yeah.
what it looks like is happening. It looks
Yeah.
like their ship is
Yeah.
past the point of saving, and that's why. And you kind of put it all together. That's why their life raft is heading to the marketing game, advertising agency game.
Yeah.
I'm
My
not saying all
take
bad things for them,
My take on this Pigcake is that everything comes in fads. Like, look, a year and a half ago, my kids were punching other kids to try and get to a shop to buy a bottle of fucking Prime, and now nobody gives a shit, right? Things come in fads, things come and go. Illusionist was always the place that you got into, at least when I first started. Everybody would find Illusionist first. They'd get into magic, they might go into other places, other areas, but you'd find Illusionist first. I'm willing to bet that in the last 5 years, most people that come into magic do not find that route through Illusionist. It's probably Penguin, it's probably Vanishing Ink, it's probably a small
Probably
independent.
YouTube.
It might be
YouTube.
Alakazam, or YouTube or something like that. But I don't think Illusionists are responsible for bringing people into magic anymore, which means that now you have to find Illusionist once you're within the community. And the problem is, today's hot topic is tomorrow's chip wrapping. Like, you're only as good as yesterday. And the thing is, that comes down to marketing and branding. And they openly just said, yeah, we've been busy. We've not had time to communicate with our audience. Well, fuck you. That's marketing. That's branding. That's marketing 101. The time that you market stronger than ever before is when you've got nothing on. Guys, I know we've not got anything right now, but blah, blah, blah. You post on social media, you do something. That's what illusionists did back in the day. They're not doing that. And I think the reason is, and I think the big reason is, any business can be turned around, but you've got to want to turn it around, and it's got to be hard work. And I've got a feeling that the people behind the scenes are probably more interested in making the marketing side of the business successful than the magic side of the business. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. I think the thing is this, and this is the most telling thing, is that for me, you, and Pigcake, we only give a fuck about magic.
Yep.
No point in me starting an advertising agency because I wouldn't give a fuck about it. I'd only be doing that if I was more interested in that and not interested in magic. And it comes back to what I was saying. They don't understand the community, and they don't understand magic like at a fundamental level. I know that sounds on the surface of it, it sounds offensive, and it's not offensive, but they are approaching the business from the wrong point, which is if they cared and understood, which you can't just teach understanding, then there would be no need to even try. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't bother with the other stuff unless they just want. And business is not a dirty word, right? Business is not a dirty word. It's okay to want to earn money and be rich or try to be rich in other areas. That's completely cool. But I think it's okay to do that if you're not pretending or professing that you are being something you're not, or you are something that you're not. You know what I mean? And if I say not focusing 100% on magic community, just trying to do good. Just trying to do good. Just do a good thing every fucking week for the community for nothing. That will.
It's YouTube. It's what we're talking earlier about YouTube. It's the same sort of idea when we're talking about the YouTube channels that you used to see that had, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and then they've kind of like quashed that, and they've haven't come back to that. It's maybe a loss of that passion, a loss of that drive that makes you want to continue with that content. And as a business, it's not just drive, it's also, financial obligations, and it's also investment in those fields. For us, as if you're doing YouTube stuff, the investments might be minimal compared to what they're putting in. So you're just not motivated anymore to do that. And that's what it seems like is going on with them, which is a shame, because I've always been a fan of their stuff. And, they came out with stuff that was different than what is like sanitized from Vanishing Ink, for example, or the stuff you might see on Penguin. They had a more sort of rough edge to it, which is what I like. But
Brad Christian always did something that no other magic company has done since. And this is like the big thing for me, is that Brad Christian did things just for the fuck of it. He did things that didn't make sense, and he was open to doing things that they made no logical sense, which is entirely what magic is about. This is going back years now, right? That doesn't happen anymore because obviously the passion's gone, or they don't care about it, or it's just not working for them as a model. But for whatever it is, the thing that worked for them was the wild card nature of it. The fact that like Brad would fly anyone anywhere in the world, at sometimes potentially a complete loss to the product and the project, just because it looked fucking cool. Pete McKinnon and Madison smashing up a fucking hotel room to sell a deck of cards. Completely pointless. Blowing up cars in the fucking desert. There was no rational thinking company. Like, with no offense to Penguin or Vanishing Ink, they're never gonna do something like that in their marketing, because if you look at the numbers on a piece of paper, there is no way to justify that. And that's exactly what's wrong with the industry, or for me at least, that's what the industry 100% lacks. And that's what Rory Sutherland calls as alchemy. I mean, they say, his book's called Alchemy, it's about marketing, but sometimes you just gotta fucking scent the soap. And sometimes you just gotta do something because it makes zero sense whatsoever, and you don't have to explain yourself. That's what they used to do, and it seems like I definitely was not the catalyst or the proponent for this, and I wasn't, and this was happening long before I started there. But from pretty much the day that I left, they weren't able to replicate that in any way that felt authentic. Like, it used to happen before, and it was like, oh fuck yeah, and then since, it was kind of like either manufactured, right? Like the whole Back to Black controversy and a few other things that people got, like the community shat on them for. It felt manufactured and contrived and forced. Whereas before they just used to do it and everyone just did. And I don't know whether it's a sign of the times for the social media and people view things differently now. Like, you can't be as offensive these days, or you can't say things as rationally, or, people might complain these days that, yeah, that flight to Mexico is going to harm the environment now because you use jet fuel for no good reason. People think like that these days, right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason it is, and maybe it's because Brad has taken a massive back seat, and he really was is the magic that made Illusionist work. Even though there were some amazing people there, like McKinnon and the Madisons and the Jason Brumbelows, and the Adam Wilbers, it's not working, and you cannot force that to work. It's not something that can be trained or learned or replicated. And I think, because of that, plus, I really don't think they care about the community, because if they did, they would not. If they cared, they would just be doing contests and having fun and meeting up with people and just doing all this cool shit all the time. The type of shit that we just fucking do on YouTube and with our communities because we just are addicted, because we love the communities and the art. They'd be doing that without having to explain their absences. And because of that, fair enough, go off, get rich somewhere else, because it's working for them elsewhere. If that's what they want, cool.
I was gonna say, do you remember they had a contest years ago, and this is the cringiest video I have ever seen in my entire fucking life. It's so bad. Where they flew somebody out, and they had to cut to the ace of spades in a shuffle deck. You were there.
Dude. Once in Santa Monica, once in San Francisco, I think.
The video that I saw was like on a couch, and I forgot what the money was, but if he cut to the ace of spades,
$1 million, and it was a real $1 million on the line, for real,
dude. I remember seeing that shit, and he cuts to a random card, and it's just, you feel the air deflated, right? It's just so awkward because this guy's just on a couch. Like, all right, man, $1 million are at stake, and they're shuffling the deck, and he cuts the deck, and it's like not the ace of spades, and it's just, all right, well, wasn't that? Thank you for coming, man. It was just so fucking awkward, man. I remember
it was another fucking crazy thing. And from what I remember, I think in hindsight, it should have been that, like, look, if you cut the ace of spades, it's $1 million. If you don't, you're gonna get all this crazy shit here. So that the moment it goes wrong, there's a big fucking reason to not be sad, sat right in front of him.
Yeah.
But it came down to it at the time. It was a little bit like rushed and not fully thought out. But again, shit like that. What other magic company is giving away $1 million or the chance to? The way it worked was so the competition so these competitions on TV for like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and stuff, they're insured. They're games that are insured. So I think E put up, I want to say like $50K. So they paid the insurance company $50,000 or something like that. And then there was an adjudicator, and all the company had to go. The company secretly bought a deck from a random place. They put them in black envelopes or whatever it was. It was like a whole thing, but it was all done really above board, and it did cost a considerable amount of money, not $1 million. But if that guy had cut to an ace, he would have fucking won $1 million on the spot. It's amazing.
but dude, just the vibe. After, because it's like, yeah, you're right. You want to lead them on a high. You don't want to fucking end on a downer.
Yeah, if I was doing that, right, what I would do for the story, I would like take the guy out afterwards on like a hangover style party, right, where it's just crazy shit happening, strippers, tigers, fucking babies in the fucking arms. It'd be like all these consolation prizes, and like start the fucking contest video after the contest happening, be like, show the guy partying like crazy and like, oh, this is how I celebrated losing $1 million.
Yeah,
and then the story from there. This is the story of how I lost $1 million.
To wrap this little segment up, that's the big difference. I think back in those days, everybody and their fucking mother wanted to work at Illusionist. Now, nobody in the community goes, I want to work for Illusionist. It just doesn't happen. That's the big difference. Public perception. Perception is reality. And that's the thing.
I think it's just simply like it's abundantly clear that they're not really interested in magic or the community. They don't really get it anymore. They can't recapture the magic, and they are openly transitioning into a completely different area of business.
Yeah,
good on them. Good luck to them. But don't complain that they can't. nothing they can do about it. But for everyone else,
Magic's dead.
for every other company, it's a fucking golden era, and
Agree.
business is booming.
Actually, I've got one last topic before we all fuck off.
Oh, I gotta go.
Have you got 5 minutes for this? This is interesting.
I got 5 minutes, but I've not got the half an hour that you know 5 minutes turns into.
Well, look, let me ask you the question because it is related to what we've just talked about. And if you want to hold on to it until next week, we can. So we've had about 5 or 6 people ask this question in various different places, all wanting to know. And they've all asked it slightly differently, but I'm going to read this guy's out because he kind of puts it quite succinctly. I've lately noticed that there's been a shortage of good magic being released. A lot of nothing really new in the last few months. And I'm wondering if you lot feel the same, being that you review or are around magic products constantly. Do you agree that there's not that much new stuff out that's exciting, or am I just not looking in the right places? I always check the new items on Vanishing Ink and Penguin Magic and all the other magic shops, and it just doesn't seem that there's anything new that kind of comes out that makes me go, wow. Now, for me to add on to that, as a reviewer this year, I haven't seen that much that's exciting. I know of stuff that's coming out that's really exciting. There was stuff that came out of Blackpool that I was thinking, oh my God, that's really good, but I've not seen it actually being released through the online shop. We're talking about people that buy online, that don't go to conventions, that are just basically looking at the latest and greatest on Penguin Magic. Because let's be honest, a lot of people, they just shop at Penguin, they get the stuff from Penguin, or they just stop at Vanishing Ink. There's been some cool bits and pieces, but really, as a reviewer, this has been a bit of a drought period for me.
Can I say what I think potentially?
I'd love you to.
I think there's as much good magic now as there and bad magic now as there had been at any other point in Magic's recent online history. I think people are too afraid to make a big song and dance about a product. I think people are too afraid to make hype campaigns and do big marketing schemes because for every
It's
10
bit us in the ass.
for every 9 that do really well and are really successful, there's 1 or 2 that go fucking nuclear. And although it works, it seems like those products bomb or don't do well, and there's a negative connotation around them. We could speak from experience. And I think people see that and they don't want to take the risk. Whereas I
It's
think
almost
magic
like
should
they're
be fun.
scared of saying how good their trick is, right?
Yeah, because they know that these day and age, because people can be anonymous or not anonymous online, and everyone gets the same valued opinion or value given to their opinion. That they don't want to put themselves on the precipice. They don't want to put themselves on the parapet even. And I think because there's some fucking amazing things, and if I was in charge of those products, I would be making some exciting, fun, crazy campaign. I'd be making some mysterious riddles and keys. I think that's what Magic's all about. It's not just about I've got a really good trick, and because everything's whitewashed these days, and we're not allowed to have fun because you might cause controversy or kick or upset someone. Then you got to just talk about it as if you're in your neutral, scientifically clean environment. So there you go. Fucking kill me, please.
We parodied that, didn't we, with the Savant deck? We parodied it when you were still at Murphy's. You had that conversation with George where you were trying to come up with a pitch for the
most
Savant
boring
deck.
cab. Yeah, sorry, we can't say it's amazing and it can do this because people will get offended. We have to say it's a decent trick, and if you like card tricks, you might buy it. But if you don't like card tricks, you might not buy it. You have to play it. You have to play everything so down the fucking line now. And I think for me, the reason I used to love Illusionist, the reason I used to love Theory 11, the reason why Magic got me so fucking hooked with these exciting campaigns, we had to solve riddles or fucking go on Easter egg hunts, and people would, and the reason I was so passionate about not liking that fucking Border Restored Horn card trick was because the build up to it. But did I enjoy that build up? Fuck yeah. Was it fun? Fuck yeah. And even though the product in the end was not the same product advertised, I fucking remember it. And the problem is I don't remember anything that's coming out in the minute because it's all fucking boring. Like, not the trick. The tricks are great, but it's so fucking boring. It's just literally like going to my local fucking Tesco. All the shelves are the same. All the packaging looks the fucking same. Nothing is fucking. I'm not wined and dined or on anything because everyone's too afraid to put their fucking toe in the water and say, "Yeah, I got a fucking amazing trick, and I'm gonna talk about it for 3 weeks before I even show you what it looks like, and then it's gonna blow your tits off, and it's fucking dope and it's revolutionary, and you're gonna love it. And then it might not be that to everyone, but to some people it fucking might be.
Yep.
That's all right to do.
You got
I don't know.
post nut clarity. That's what you got. You got that post nut clarity, man. Everybody's here. They like the build up, but then once you finish, you're like, oh, wait a second. Well, I don't need to pay $1,000.
Fuck, this is not real magic. You can't. You lied to me. No, well, hang on. What the fuck? And I know I have led a lot of these campaigns, and there have been instances where they backfired. Would I do it again? Yeah, probably.
Absolutely.
Probably.
We've
It
got
was
some stuff
fucking
coming out
fun.
this year, and I really fucking hope we fucking turn the hype needle up to fucking 2079.
Oh shit, Craig.
I can't wait to read off Facebook, man. Fuck,
Can't
that's always
wait
my
to
favorite.
blow up the community. Like, there's no way I'm gonna fucking collab with Lloyd Barnes and I'm not gonna do some crazy shit.
Oh,
Not gonna
man,
happen.
We're fucked.
Yeah, but guess what? You can't lose your job anymore. You've already quit.
Oh, exactly. You can't catch it twice, son.
You can't fire me, dude. I'm on the glom.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna fire myself from this earth. Shit.
But Lloyd wants to go. I think executive decision. We should have Pigcake back next week. What do you reckon?
I think we should have him back every week.
I think you should be a permanent addition to the podcast, man. I think you bring something, a certain level of virginity that me and Lloyd just haven't got in us. What do you reckon?
Don't do the Nazi salute.
You know
Why
what?
is it that when Lloyd was playing with his dog, I was like, oh, that's so cute. When you're playing with your dog, I'm seriously
What?
considering you want to fuck it.
No, man. Well, first of all, no, because his butthole's too tight. And then second of all, dude, he's a Nazi. I'm not gonna have sex with a Nazi dog. He claims his shoulder issues, but his hand gets stuck like this all the time. It's weird. You know, I will take that, man. I'd gladly join you guys on a weekly basis. I enjoy talking to you guys, and it actually gets me involved as to what's going on in Magic. Because I'm never like I'm always on the peripheral, and then not dick deep in virginity. But if you guys allow me, I'd be glad to come in on a weekly basis to talk Magic on the Magic podcast.
Is now a threesome.
Oh yeah, baby. Come on up 4 hours in this bitch as well. So what the fuck?
So don't forget, get your tickets to the Magic podcast. Go to magiccon.com and you can get your tickets right now. They are selling out. Also, we'll be back next Wednesday with another podcast. You got any questions for me, for Lloyd, for Pigcakes? Send them in. Until then, Lloyd, you got to sign it off.
Have a shit week. Do not fuck kids, please.
Even if
You
you're
have your
a
own
famous
island.
magician that owns your own island.
Thank God. I thought you were gonna say even if they're hot. Thank God you did it.
Oh fuck. On that note, I gotta go. Peace out. Love everyone.
See you again soon. Bye, everyone, guys.
And girls.
And girls. Fucking hell.
And dogs.
We apologize for disrupting your normal daily schedule. You may now relax, tuck your deck back in, and resume your regular day-to-day life. Remember to subscribe to be notified the moment each new episode goes live every Wednesday. And join our Facebook group to continue the conversation. The link is in the description to this podcast. Thank you for listening to The Magic Podcast.